What's going on, motherfuckers? Welcome to the Two Partners, One Pig Fucker podcast. My name is Naaackers, and today is Sunday, August 8th, 2021, and this is episode number 162. I almost fucked that up, sorry. Anyways, on the podcast tonight, we've got Katie Peters and MiddleAgedStream. Jimmy, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm fantastic, man. How are you?
Fantastic. We'll see how long that lasts. I'm doing well. It's good to see you. And Katie, it is great to see you back. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very, very good.
Good.
Right before we started the podcast, I was going to mention something about your window, because I never knew that you had a window there, because this is the first time I've seen it opened.
Yeah. The outside world that people speak of. Yeah, I like having it open because I can see it in my screen, so I feel like I can see some nature.
Right.
But it's I don't know. Yeah, I got a window here. There's a whole nother one right there too.
Oh, that's not in frame?
Yeah, there's a whole other side to this window.
I went a really long time with I had Trader Joe's. Do you have a Trader Joe's out there by chance?
Yes, I have two. So I can go to two locations.
I was not expecting you to say yes.
Yeah, I got two of them. I can pick the location I want to go to, which is an exciting day for me.
Awesome. I had the paper bags that come from Trader Joe's cut up into flat pieces and duct taped to my windows to block all light. And I always used to get so mad at my mom because she wouldn't let me paint my room black. Like, come on, this is what I want. But she knew as well as anybody else that the sun is important, and you need to get the D from the outside world. And eventually it got to the point where I'm like, I never see the sun, and I feel like it's about time to open up these windows and get some sunlight in here.
Yeah, it's worth it. I painted my room maroon like when I was a kid, and my parents are like, that's going to be so dark. But we did a white ceiling. It looked very classy. I really liked it. But these are actually blackout curtains. So because I play a lot of scary games, and I used to do low light when I would do that, and I would have to pull these closed or it would be too much light. But now I'm embracing nature and who I truly am. I don't know what that means.
I mean, I was just talking to one of my coworkers about this, about how we grew up, or at least I grew up, especially in my religion, but just like our parents in generals, to say that the hippies were the crazy ones. They're crazy. They smoke weed. They hug trees. They're just odd people. When in reality, they were the smartest fucking people out of anybody, because they lived free. They practiced like sharing nothing but love with other human beings. Like they embraced
getting that D from the outside.
How much D
do you get? How much D would you say you get from the outside world on any given day?
Couple inches worth. Couple inches
worth of D. Good.
It's if we're talking DP, then it's double.
I don't know. I take a vitamin D supplement
every day.
Sometimes. I'm gonna. I mean, I don't know.
Where's Mark?
I didn't go. I was trying to include myself in this, and it went down a path that I can't.
It's perfect. Mark's like, yeah, she does.
Look at nature. You can see nature.
Right.
Let's look at that.
That's right.
Oh my god, I'm waiting to see Mark walk by the window just butt ass naked, like, yeah.
I just see him staring in the background by the rocket, just doing this to you, Naaackers.
Someone was saying that, like, I hope he walks by and dabs someday, and I'm like, it's very possible, because we're keeping dabbing alive. It will not die on my stream.
Dabbing is hilarious to me.
Some people
really
think it's
hate
done.
it. Some people really hate it.
Yes,
They really do. I've had some
really aggressively.
I keep it alive. I mean, it started ironically, and like all good things that start ironically, it starts to become part of you. And so dabbing, I have a dab emote, and then dabbing in general is just, it's fun, and I think it's super funny, and I won't stop. Nothing can stop me.
I'm so glad to hear you say that. I can't even tell you how happy I somebody recently, I always compare the dab to like kids saying Kobe or swishing, right? Like there's been so many things over the years that have been equal to the dab. And there's a new Australian streamer that I've been watching lately named Milo, and she does a she puts the two together. So when she does the dab, her hands act like she's throwing a free throw. So she goes like this, dabs with the free throw hands. I'm like, that's fucking genius. That's one of the best dabs that I've seen. So I'm glad to hear that other people enjoy dabbing as much as I do.
Yeah, I'm not as innovative as that, but now I feel like the challenge has been put forth, and I need to see if I can reinvent the dab. This will be my legacy.
Can we see a dab from you right now?
I'm really bad at dabbing.
Let's see it. Come on.
That's the fun. For charity, someone donated. It was $2 for the charity for me to dab, and they donated a lot, so I had to do 100 dabs in a row. And you'd be surprised at how weak your arms get.
Yes.
I feel like there's a lot of pressure happening right now, but I'm just going to do it.
Okay.
And please critique my form.
Oh my God.
It's like someone who shouldn't be dabbing is dabbing.
You know, it was kind of
I embrace it.
It was a little robotic, you know, I'll give it that. But
Yeah.
overall, I will give you points for smoothness, where everything
Thank you.
returned where it should. So if we're going to give this on a scale of 1 to 10, we're going to go 6.9. 6.9.
Okay. That's a good number. That's a good number
6.9
to have.
capsules of vitamin D. So
Yes.
you can take this however you want, but I don't know if anybody has seen the little old lady actor from Golden Girls who does the dab. That is exactly how you just dab.
Betty
You
White?
Betty White? Did I just Betty White
Did
it?
you
Betty
refer to
White.
Betty White as the little old lady actor from Golden Girls?
How do you not know who Betty White is?
Is she not?
Yeah, but
Is
why
she
wouldn't
God?
you just say Betty White? Everyone knows who Betty White
I didn't know her fucking name. That's why
Jesus
I referenced the
Christ.
movie.
Oh.
Yeah, that's Betty White, who she's just a badass in general, though. I don't think I've ever met anybody who didn't know Betty White's name.
Mhm.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Wow.
Is it? Because I'm feeling mountains of shame. Yeah, shame right into fucking set mode. Jesus Lord. Anyways, it's awesome to see you both here. Thank you. I feel like I haven't podcasted in a while. Katie, do you have a schedule for your Katie Hasn't Seen That podcast?
It's every other week an episode comes out, but there's no schedule. You know what? You just said that, and I think changed my life, because I'm like, maybe I should set a schedule. Like, can you hear that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
What was that?
The speaker started playing music.
Oh.
Which is great. See, as I'm talking about, I'm a professional podcaster. You just hear music blare out of speakers in my office. No, I don't have a schedule set. You just dab on them. Just like let it roll off your shoulders. It's usually a frantic, I record the intro, watch the movie, record the outro for the podcast, and just at least get it done by Thursday. But I probably should pick a day of the week to do it, because that would probably remove a lot of the stress of, oh shit, I got to record an episode of Katie Hasn't Seen That before Thursday.
Ah, got it. That content pressure it doesn't sit well with me. So I would say don't do a schedule. Keep doing what you've been doing. It'll be fine.
And it's been fine. Like, I'm taking a short break from it. I'm calling it like a short summer break, because we did 33 episodes without a break. And so I was like, going to take a tiny bit of time off. And then I'm collecting a bunch of movies, and we're going to do a poll of the most requested movies. And then the top 4 are going to be the next episodes. So
There you go.
Yeah. So this stuff upcoming. Just taking a tiny little break now.
I think I've told you that it was so like when I saw that you started doing that podcast, I'm like, that's fucking genius. That is such a good idea. I was mad that I didn't think of it first, even though I don't watch any movies really. But there's so many opportunities for that podcast to pave its own path. And like what you just said, with having a poll and having people vote and getting the audience involved in the direction, there's something to be said about when you create some type of content that at a certain point it starts to kind of like drive itself, where it's like, okay, I don't have to be 100% original with every thought regarding this piece of content. It's like the community starts to pick up like a little bit of the slack, and that's so fucking refreshing after putting so much effort into something, and then you're just so exhausted because you constantly have to think on your toes all the time.
Yeah. For Katie Hasn't Seen That, I do my intro where I tell you what I think a movie's about. Then I watch the movie, and then I take a lot of vigorous notes though as I'm watching the movie, so I don't forget anything. And so when I'm watching, like, it is kind of
Sorry. I'm just imagining you on your couch with a fucking legal pad just going like this.
I use it on my phone and I have a notepad app, but I do love the art of physical handwritten notes, and I have a stack next to me. Unfortunately, I can't break the habit of it, but yeah, I make notes. I type like comments that I think are funny, or that something in the movie I'm like, why did that happen? It's just a way for me to reference, but it's literally like they're long notes that I make, and then I try to make sure I go through all of that. I organize them. So there's more to it than just like watching a movie and rambling about it. So
no, I've listened to a few of your episodes. You usually have your thoughts pretty,
most of the time
honed in on what you're thinking about the film.
Most of the time. Sometimes I go on tangents, and I don't know. It's interesting because it's a podcast I do by myself, so there's no one to like bounce stuff off of. But everyone seems to like it. No one's told me to stop, so that's good.
Do you struggle with that? With not having somebody to bounce off of?
I don't. I grew up very independently, and so I feel like I'm okay in those kind of situations of just talking to myself or having hopefully enough inflection in my voice and stuff to make it, interesting. But it is always fun whenever I'm on someone's podcast where I do get to talk to someone. I'm like, oh, this is cool. There's some back and forth. But I have friends who do a bunch of podcasting, as do you guys, and trying to, balance guests and making sure people show up and all of that. I kind of removed that for myself since it's a little frantic sometimes for me to even get an episode out, that I just,
just do it.
It's just me. It's one less step I need to worry about.
In case there is anybody in chat, I'm usually really, really bad at this, and I caught it. It only took me 18 minutes. Can you introduce yourself to anybody in chat who might not know who you are? Just like a quick intro, and then we'll just get back to because I always forget to do this for people.
I'm KatiePetersPlays. I am a Twitch partnered streamer, and I have a podcast called Katie Hasn't Seen That, and another one called Quantum Drive, where we talk, my friend Rob and I talk about the Orville, every episode of the Orville ever. And I do a lot of tabletop, and I stream, and I talk a lot on other people's podcasts. So that's me.
How many podcasts are you a part of right now?
Just two, my own, and then Quantum Drive. But I love to go on other people's podcasts. I'm always like, you want me to be on your podcast? I'll come on your podcast, because I just love podcasting. It's so much fun. It's just like a different medium, and it's just a little bit more casual, but you talk about stuff that you normally don't talk about on podcasts, I feel like.
That is such a wonderful point, because I've seen so many people joke over the years that people make fun of other people for having podcasts. Like, everybody has a podcast, like everybody and their mother streams. But in today's day and age, what time do you get to set aside where you can talk about real shit with your homies and homettes, right? Like, if I didn't have the podcast, I would never sit down for extended periods of time and talk about my friends or talk to my friends about anything. Like, how good would I really know my online friends if all we ever did was just play video games? And I'm not saying like there's people who they'll game for 12 hours with their friends, and there's probably plenty of time to talk. But there's so many times where I'm extremely grateful for these events, because I learn a lot about myself. You learn a lot about the other people. You hash out problems. You can agree, you can disagree. And I think one of my favorite things is being able to go back and see how I've changed, right? To have this forever documented, like to be able to go back and look and be like, whoa, I can't believe like I used to think that way, or I had a certain perspective on that. And so I tell everybody to start a podcast, because it's so fruitful in so many ways, and you don't need an audience to get the benefits of having a podcast, in my opinion. Like, sure, it's great on top of that, but there's so many wonderful parts of podcasting that you can benefit from without having an audience.
Yeah, no, true.
Mm-hmm. It's just fun. It's something I never thought I would do. Podcasting is not something I ever, at 15 was like, I'm going to be a podcast. Did podcasts exist? When did podcasts come into inception? It's been a hot minute, I guess.
Well, I mean, podcasts are kind of like the modern version of
2004.
Radio shows that used to be prevalent in the 80s, and a lot of like stuff that was on tape that you listen to on car trips. A lot of people listen when they're commuting now. They listen to podcasts or music instead. I think it's just those talk radio shows that were really prevalent in the 80s and then in the 90s. They've turned into podcasts essentially. You know, a lot of those shows. Not saying that they don't have talk radio shows. They do, but they're not nearly as prevalent as they used to be because it's so much easier to disseminate a podcast all over the world as opposed to something on a local AM station, you know? So it's just the technology's changed, and I think podcasting has kind of become, I mean, it's really exploded in popularity in recent years, I would say. You know, there's podcasts for freaking everything now.
Yeah, there really is. I just really enjoy it, and I think it's a medium I consume, and it's fun to actually make stuff for this medium as well.
I think back to what it was like to get my first my first Nintendo Powers or my first game guides, right? Where you went out and you bought a magazine for an entire game and you're like, holy shit, I'm getting so much additional insight on this particular title or this genre. And I remember that being one of the coolest things ever. And now I kind of get that vibe from podcasting because when people start a podcast about something, it's usually because they are very knowledgeable or very proficient, like in that field. And to listen to people who are very experienced or very knowledgeable talk about certain things can be incredibly interesting, even if you don't care about, like, the amount of podcasts that I've listened to about, like, the way plants talk to each other through their roots. And, like, I don't even really care about plants all that much, but there are certain people who story tell so fucking well. And again, like, I too enjoy creating and consuming the podcast medium. It's like one of my favorite pieces of content that have kind of evolved into our space.
Yeah. And Twitch is really a great environment to produce podcasts because there's so many different types of creators out there with so many different experiences. You also get, I mean, depending on the type of podcast it is, you know, if you're doing, there's some people that put stuff out that's all pre-recorded, but you could do a live podcast and make it work too. You know, it just really just depends on, you know, what it is you're trying to do. For something like you, Katie, and your podcast, it'd be very difficult to do a live show of that where you're not constantly referring to all your, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're reading off your notes and your thoughts, and that would be a much more difficult type of thing to do. But in this particular case, like part of the, like, that's why I say it's hard to, it depends on the type of podcast. The format for this is very similar to like a talking radio show from 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
The format is a similar type of thing.
Yeah.
But then there are some that are singularly focused on one particular item. In your case, the movies you hadn't seen. And that it's a smaller format too. It's a shorter show and whatnot, but it's also very distinct and entertaining, you know, in its own right. It's just there's so many different styles. I mean, I gotta say, there's a podcast for literally everything.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
They're like deep dives, I guess. Like each episode, like for different things. Like I know everything I listen to has got a huge gamut. So yeah, just to echo, I guess that it is like, you know, there's something for everything. There's something for everybody, and there is a podcast for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Fill the air while I do something that I should have done before the podcast, Jimmy.
We'll give it a little D.
Yeah, get a little vitamin D.
A little vitamin
69
D.
capsules.
So I finally put in a request. We'll talk Twitch partnership for a second. I finally put in a request. I put in a ticket for them to permanently give my channel bot a membership, right?
Yeah.
And they sent the response to my ticket as a if you want to put in it was like an automated response where I was requesting them to put the bot in, and then they automated back to me saying, if you want to put a ticket at the same place I put the fucking ticket in. I was like, what the fuck?
I did
what
that.
I literally just requested.
Yeah, my bot has one of those, and I just sent it through the portal.
Yeah, that's what. It's like a ticket.
Like the ticket portal. Yeah, the help portal ticket system.
That's what I did. I don't know if maybe it was just a weird automated response. I'll wait and see what happens. But
Twitch has the worst support system in the history of big tech.
Yeah,
worse than Google. And that's saying a lot.
They have bad support.
Back in the day, I heard every partner had our partner rep, and now we just get the portal, Jimmy.
Shh, there's a creative director in here. I mean, creative producer. Shh.
Don't
Don't be talking shit about the company.
Yo,
right
fuck
now.
Twitch.
I was just mentioning that we have a portal rep, and that's all I was saying.
It's
A
all it is.
portal rep.
It's a portal. It's a auto response software thing that we get.
Mm-hmm.
What we got. Oh,
At least we get, a warm, fuzzy bot response sometimes.
I got an email.
Yes.
Got an email. Thank you, Twitch, for the email responding to what I was trying to get done to begin with. I guess I'll do it again tomorrow.
Yeah. I would reply to the email and just say, hey, this is what I did already. Could you just maybe slip that
I
bota?
would reply, except it says this is an automated response. And
Oh, you can't
it wouldn't even
reply
give
to
an
it?
email. I would just be sending it back to a bot, And it would be like, you stupid idiot. Why did you send this to the bot? And then there would be someone at Twitch headquarters just laughing at me.
Well,
Can't have that.
I hope that it's a smoother process tomorrow. When you
I hope
do
so,
it.
too. I would get 3 emails. Sure, we can help you out. Just go ahead and put a ticket in right here.
Katie, what's the worst movie that you've seen so far in regards to your podcast? Oh, that sounds like you've already made the decision.
I hated quite a few of them. The one that hated. I've given some very low reviews. I'll look through the list, but Dune is at the top of the list, which is very controversial.
The book is so much better than the freaking movie.
Yeah. So the book, I think if I had read the book first, it would have made a lot more sense. It was a painful experience to listen or to watch that, probably to listen to my episode as well. But I really hated Poltergeist as well.
Because you didn't, it was just too creepy. Why did you hate that one?
It was not scary at all. It was just bad. There was a lot of flashing lights in it that drove me crazy. I hated that. I just hated the movie. I just didn't have nostalgia attached to it. And it just sucked really hard. And so I just hated it.
Did you ever hear the story behind the story behind the girl who was the actress in that movie? Right?
Yeah, I watched a whole thing on Shudder about cursed movies. And
a lot of people from that movie ended up dying strange, mysterious deaths.
Yes, a lot of people died, and then they talked about The Exorcist and a bunch of other ones, but they talked about Poltergeist, and that poor little girl died very young. But they were saying it's because the movie was haunted or cursed. But the show tried to debunk stuff and just said life happens. But I'm like, you mean I don't know, spooky movies with bad things that happen around the cast? I don't know.
So growing up in a religious household, we had the existence of demons drilled into us. Told stories and said that they're everywhere at all times, and the worse off you are, the more that hover around you, all that shit. And I remember watching the first Paranormal Activity and being so fucking troubled of just watching that shit does not sit right with me at all. And I don't know if I believe, but there's enough shit that I've heard and again drilled into my mind that I just when it comes to fucking the devil and demons and shit like that, I don't fuck around. I don't want to be anywhere near that stuff. So Poltergeist can go fuck itself.
There's some places where that there's some places that I've even been to that I'm like, what the hell? Because you can almost sense some sort of it's hard to explain unless you've been around. I'm not a firm believer in ghosts and spirits and stuff, but I definitely don't say that they don't exist. I know that there's some weird paranormal shit out there. I went to on a tour when I was stationed in Germany. I went to one of the concentration camps that was out there. It was a museum. It was a place called Dachau. It was a large concentration camp. And just walking around that place, you just got this really unsettling feeling, and it was, I couldn't explain it. I know it wasn't just my brain playing tricks on me. It was just I could almost feel I had goosebumps the whole time, man. It was just a weird thing. And then another place that was kind of like that, I don't know if you heard of the Winchester House.
Yes, they made a movie about that. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
That is a wild place. So the owner the guy who created the Winchester rifle back in the 19th century, they made money hand over fist with that rifle, right? Anyway, long story short, husband, the creator of the rifle, dies. His wife inherits everything. And the home that they have bought, apparently she's getting like all the dead people who've been killed by Winchester rifles are like spirits that are like haunting her and saying that she has to create more room for the spirits to occupy. So the house was in a perpetual state of constantly being built for years and years and years and years. There's stairways that lead to nowhere. There's doors that open to nothing. There's weird shit every frick all over the place. It's just a freaking weird, just crazy shit, that. Like cursed, man. That's a cursed place. So I try and stay away from those places.
Oh my God, that creeps me out so much. Going back to the movie star death and stuff, I remember watching a YouTube video that it was highlighting people that had gotten fatally injured on movie sets. And there was that one movie where a prop helicopter fell out of the sky and sliced two kids and a man like in half, and killed all three of them.
Oh my God.
That was on that series. I can't think of what it's called. It was like the third installment of one of those movies.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Which I gotta Google that because they showed the footage. Like they didn't show, like you couldn't see anything bad, but you could see the helicopter go down, and it was a real helicopter.
Didn't Brandon Lee die on the set of The Crow?
Yeah.
He was filming The Crow when he died, right?
Yep. Yeah, because he got shot in the chest with a fake bullet.
Well, even non-lethal bullets can be lethal close enough range. That's people don't know that.
Yeah. Fucking
crazy.
If it's
a rubber bullet, it can actually kill you if it's close range enough. So, wow.
Well, while Katie's Googling, Jimmy, what kind of games have you been playing lately?
I've actually had a little bit of a point and click fever lately. I played Full Throttle Remastered, which is a great game, a LucasArts game from the 90s, and then I played Space Quest 3, and I haven't played that game in 2 decades, and I got every single point possible in the game. That's what's crazy. Like, how I used to play that game all the time when I was a kid. Hadn't played it in forever. Hadn't played it since I was a teenager. And still remembered all the solutions to all the puzzles and everything in that game because I'd played it so many times. So that was kind of fun.
God damn.
And then I've been playing Hades a bit off stream. And then, just the usual retro. I think I may be dipping my toe back into some Souls in the not too distant future. I've had Dark Souls 3 to play. That's been on my list to play. And it's just been kind of on the back burner. But I got a couple other titles that I kind of want to try out first. So just a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Okay. Yeah. Katie, is that a Nicolas Cage Mona Lisa pillow behind you?
It is. And then there's Nicolas Cage half naked in a banana as well.
Oh my God.
You can't see that one as well, but he's peeking. He's taking a look.
Speaking of demons, Vampire Kiss is one of the most fucked up movies that I have ever seen in my entire life.
I've never seen it, and it was Twilight Zone was the movie. It was? So yeah, it was Twilight Zone. I've never seen Vampire's Kiss though.
That's where his face is from, on that pillow.
Is okay. Well, someone gifted me these, so I'm watching through some of Nick Cage's movies because it's become a meme in my channel because of Nick Cage pillows. But I've watched Con Air now. There's another one I watch. Everyone wants me to watch Willy's Wonderland. That's one that they've wanted me to jump into.
I've heard that show's messed up. That's like the Five Nights at Freddy's type.
Yeah, that's what
movie,
I've heard.
Rated R.
Mm-hmm.
This must be on your list of Katie hasn't seen.
Should I write it down? Vampire's Kiss?
Yes, please. Okay. Vampire's Kiss, yep.
I'll show you all the list that this is not even all of it. This is like legitimately, this is just a list. This is from one stream where I asked people for recommendations.
Yo, that's a lot of titles.
Like I said, podcast paves itself. All you got to do is watch and jot down, and then put in the 6 hours of work afterwards to make enough podcast episode.
I have a master list, and
6 hours of work for your 20 to 30 minutes of content. Yep. There you go.
It's true.
I have to be honest, and this is just the way that I function. You having that all handwritten and not digitally written anywhere gives me anxiety. Like anytime I have a sticky note that's been around for more than 2 days, I'm like, oh, I gotta put it in fucking Google Docs. Like, oh,
Would you like to see my filing system that may give you some anxiety?
Oh,
is it a Rolodex? You fucking boomer!
This
oh
is
my
a football.
God.
I have little note cards that I write shit on, and I put it in here. And then sometimes I'm like, okay, where's my notes? And like, if I gotta like write stuff down, oh, I got a card in here.
Is that your password?
Wow. I got here's a Spacey car thing. It's leather.
A what?
Spacey, it's like a little car hood ornament that has a smell.
Like the pine tree?
This one is my favorite smell. It's fresh leather.
Okay.
I love that smell. So, we got a little
red.
Okay. Little Ren and Stimpy.
Little Ren and Stimpy action.
And in case I need tape, gotta have tape. But no, I have a pen in here, and when I I swear to God, dude, I pull out a card and I write it down, and then I'll just slap the card somewhere until I need,
I'm gonna smash that fucking football.
My iMac at work is literally during the school year, after the first couple weeks of school, there's like sticky notes all around my monitor at work.
I have never seen an iMac in a workplace that did not have stickies on the chin, and it drives me up the fucking wall.
I got stickies all over my iMac, but I have to use it all the time because something will happen at work, and it's just like I got to make a quick note, slap it on there, like, hey, this student needs to leave at this time. You know what I mean? It's if I don't write it down and put it somewhere I'm going to see it, I'm just going to forget. So
it's fair.
There you go.
You're forgiven. Do you have sticky notes at all in your office, Katie?
No.
I
thought you were asking in my office.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
Done with you, boomer.
I don't. I have like, if I need to remember something specific or I'm trying to make a habit of something, I'll put it, but then I take it away. I'm a very organized person. And so like I have my handwritten notes and I can, if I'm done with something, I shred it and recycle it, or I, just leave it in the middle of my desk until I'm done with it.
So does your space stay pretty clean all the time?
Yeah. I posted like on Twitter sometimes pictures of my desk, and there might be a little extra like I have drinks now here, and I've got like a note thing here for my GoXLR, but overall it's pretty organized because my brain works better in clean spaces, so I can't do clutter.
I'm the same way. I don't really have a lot of clutter on my desk. It's a lot of open space to use.
Mm-hmm.
What's glowing in your bottom right-hand corner of your screen, Jimbo? It's like glowing. Yeah, are they stickers?
There's a lamp, and these are stickers.
So, okay, stickers. Are those on top of a computer?
This is the desk.
Okay.
But it's like shitty. It's like a shitty particle board desk. So I'm like, I'll put stickers on it to make it look better.
I thought that was your bedroom leather cabinet where you keep all your favorite scented leather things for the guest bedroom, I should say.
That's in this little chest behind me.
Oh my God! Is that where all the lay outfits are, Jimmy?
That's my wife's. See, what you can't see, there's a vanity mirror right here. And so she sits here to do here's all our makeup stuff. So she sits in the vanity, and then she has like all her like jewelry and stuff all organized in little things down here. So she picks it up like, what earrings do I want? Whatever. So,
Katie, what kind of games have you been playing lately?
Oh boy. It's my game of the year. I know it's an older game. It's called Barn Finders, and no one's heard of it. I don't even know how I found it. I bought it on a whim on Steam. Got a dab on them. It's like the greatest game. There's just something about it. You go to barns, you collect things, you sell them. I have a blow up doll named Annie in it, and she got a friend. And so there's just a lot of stuff in the game that's goofy. It's funny, and it's somewhat relaxing. It's like a fun collect a loot game kind of. And that's not all I've been playing. I've been playing Resident Evil 6. With my friend Dan, and then I've been playing a lot of Minecraft. I'm brand new to Minecraft, and I've fallen deeply into love with it. So, are you looking? Okay, yeah, this is Barn Finders. It's like Storage Wars. I'm super excited about this. You can bid on. I played the DLC today. You can bid on like storage units and get all the goodies in it, and then sell them. and it's very redneck. It's a fun time. There's aliens in it.
I saw a UFO a little while ago.
So it's not gonna, maybe make you cry or you're gonna walk away from it feeling like your life has changed, but my life has felt changed and better because I've played it. So
oh my God. I'm a little blown away. I mean, you've played some pretty outlandish titles, so I'm not surprised considering you are the one that's playing these games, but just looking at, oh my God, was that a cat? That did not look like a cat. Oh, they are hosing down the cat.
I had to hose down my blow up doll, and she was a little dirty when we found her, but it's just a game that has brought many good memories to me. Yes, it's like a taxidermy cat. You fix stuff, you can sell cars in it. The DLC lets you customize your barn now. Now that I'm talking about it, I sound legitimately off my rocker, but it's such a fun game. I think the only other game that this dev has released is an emergency ambulance simulator where you go to an accident and you try to help people in an accident. And I'm a little too afraid to play that one.
Yeah.
Do it.
I kind of feel like I have to. I mean, how do you make barn finders and then make an emergency simulator where it's rescue the people? But
Rescue Simulation Products, Ambulance Simulator?
I believe that's it.
Oh my God.
It looks pretty graphic too, from what I remember.
Wow.
Okay, so I think I'm looking at a game that's out for Google Play. Or maybe it's a mobile game. Do you know if it's on Steam or if it's for the mobile platform?
I just looked it up. It's called Accident, the pilot.
Oh, creative.
Creative. It's got mostly negative reviews.
Oh. Nice.
Oh no, it does.
But this one, I don't know that I want to play this one. I don't want to ruin the dream.
That has to be an accident.
Yeah, it has to be to have bad reviews by this amazing developer, but I don't want to ruin.
Thank you for your pity laugh. I appreciate it.
I'm good at that. No, it had merit. It was an accident for the mostly negative reviews. I appreciated it.
Oh my God, you're actually resuscitating people.
It just seemed a little much for me.
Oh, I just looked up and saw this. Whoa.
You do CPR.
Can you choose to harvest their organs on the black market instead of saving them?
How much is it?
It's free to play, Jimmy, if you wanted to dive.
The whole thing's free?
It says free to play the game. It's called Play Accident, the pilot.
But what are you paying for? How do they make money?
Well, if you buy Barn Finders, that's with the DLC, it's about $30. So if you support them with Barn Finders.
Oh my God.
I love this. I love Barn Finders and I will die on this hill. It might not be for everyone, but it's my game of the year. And
some games are not for everyone. And to some people, some games just click that are maybe not be as popular with other people.
Yeah. This game came out in 2020. So
it's not too old.
No, it's not too old. So, it's not like 2015 like I originally thought it came from. It's a fun game.
My girlfriend is one of the only people I know that will actually play the games that come with Twitch Prime free or Epic Games free. And she was on this one game called Bug Snacks for a super long time. And she fucking loved it. Talked about it all the time. And she's come across a lot of really, really good small-time indie games that she's really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm. I tried Bug Snacks. It wasn't as fun to stream, I don't think, for me. But I think it would be fun to play, off-stream. It's kind of like a Slime Rancher-esque type game, it felt like, a little bit.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I have the Bug Snack song stuck in my head now. I don't know if she ever played the Bug Snack song for you.
I don't think she did. And if she did, I blocked it out.
Yeah, I would recommend looking up the Bug Snack song and then it will be forever in your brain. It's an earworm.
Before we get into some of I have a couple hard-hitting questions. Kind of just I going into the podcast, I was thinking about what kind of things that I wanted to talk about. And I think I'm just in an emotional mood where I kind of want to talk about more, not difficult topics, but maybe more emotional, sentimental kind of topics about experience and journey on Twitch and stuff. So Jimmy, I saw you had written down something about TwitchCon and COVID. Was there any talking points?
The only talking point was, I mean, they hadn't made any sort of like official announcement with everything going on with COVID now. It looks like not just TwitchCon, a lot of they've been canceling all kinds of festivals and concerts and stuff that were supposed to be happening in the next month or two. Like in my area, just have been getting canceled, because of widespread freaking COVID. And I have no doubt. I was not optimistic it was going to happen this year, but given how things have gotten twisted and kind of are spiking again, I just don't see any way that they're going to be able to make that happen,
I just bought tickets to an Angels and Airwaves show in September, and now I'm like, is it even going to be there? And of course, I did not buy the COVID insurance.
Oh,
it's so sad to me that COVID insurance is a thing, because we bought tickets to something coming up too, and my husband was like, I got the insurance, because now you just don't know. And if you don't have it, they'll kind of screw you over, because other people will go. But if you want to be safe, it's like you get punished for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is a show that I was going to be impulsive and buy the tickets, but now I'm like, if the tickets are there Monday, I'll go. Weezer, Green Day, and Fall Out Boy are going to be playing in 2 days. And Comerica Park is the baseball field for the Detroit Tigers. And the furthest and highest back seats are $70 before fees for like row 300, all the way at the top. And then I think on the actual field is anywhere from like $150 to $200. And it's like, okay, so after fees, I'm probably looking at $150 for two people to sit at the top of the stadium. And normally I wouldn't go, but I've looked at the set list and it's majority of Weezer's first two albums. And I think that I will regret it if I do not go and see this show.
Well, you're going to a large stadium venue that's outdoors, and you're going to be, I doubt, it's not like the whole stadium's going to be totally packed either, especially at the up. So I would say that's still reasonably safe,
Yeah, and I was actually just there for a baseball game about 5 days ago, too, so.
I'm just saying, like, it's frustrating when... I mean, I don't want to go off on a COVID tangent because that's not what this podcast is about. It's just frustrating when you feel like... I feel like the United States in particular is one of the reasons why this fucking virus won't go away, is because we have so many idiots out there that want to spread misinformation and all this other bullshit about, the vaccine and whatever. And it's just like, oh my God, guys, we could have already been out of this if y'all would have just shut the fuck up. There's people in other countries that are begging for the vaccine. You're getting incentivized here in this country now in a lot of places to get it. Like, you can get $100 or a freaking lottery entry and whatever. I'm like, shit, man, what's the problem?
Yeah, it's tough too, because like our government has been very much like, oh, you can take your mask off, and then they start backtracking, and it's like it's too soon. We gotta just leave them on a little bit longer, and then everything kind of starts falling backwards. And it makes me sad, because I'm just like, I just want to eat at a restaurant, and I just not want to be afraid every time I hear someone cough at a grocery store.
Right.
That is so fucking real, because I'll like sit down and eat lunch with a coworker, and then like an hour later they'll sneeze. And I'm like, you motherfucker, are you infected? Right? It's just like, it's your go-to reaction. I am so lucky with how my job has treated COVID. They could not have been better in the way that they treated COVID. They did everything right. They had everybody's health as a priority. They spent money out of their own pockets to protect people's areas of the office. And it's just like, I've never had a reason to not trust anybody else in my office. But like, as soon as you hear a cough, it's like,
yeah.
It's like hearing a gunshot.
Right, it really is.
In movies too, like if someone starts coughing in a movie, I'm like, this feels different now than it used to.
Oh,
it's just
you've been to the movies? Have you been to the movies?
We went to the movies once. It was the last day the movie was closing. We went to go see the Forever Purge, and there was like barely anybody in there, and just like one person coughed once, and you just kind of go. We wore our masks. Like I was just, It was weird. It felt weird. It just didn't feel like I'm in a normal, comfortable situation. But since it wasn't a packed theater, I think that helped a ton.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would if I walked in and then was sitting in a movie theater and there was people I didn't know sitting next to me. I'd be like, I'm going home.
Yeah.
I'm going home, man. You better stay over there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I think realistically, probably, and I know no one wants to hear this, but we're likely at least another year or two away from things getting back to normal.
I know.
And, it just sucks, you know?
I think it's like coming to terms with that and just going like, all right, like it was our 10-year anniversary this year, and we were going to plan a big trip. And it's just like, I didn't want to buy airfare and hotels and all that kind of stuff and then find out, oh, we can't go anywhere and we get like 50% back, or we don't get, if we didn't get the insurance because life, you don't get the insurance, but now you need to get the insurance just to get a refund on stuff. So, I just feel like it's changed so much, but I agree with you. I think it's going to be at least 1 or 2 more years of this. And I'm just trying to like have that resolve of like, we'll get through it. I just feel like I feel like I didn't waste a year, but it was not the kind of year I wanted to have. I wanted more for myself, and I feel like 2020 robbed so much from me that I'm like, I don't want more to get robbed from me because other people are being irresponsible and selfish. I put it nicely.
No, I agree, and I think I was in survival mode much of last year. I really was with my job and everything else. I was just in survival mode. I know a lot of teachers were like that too. And I have a feeling it's going to be similar to that this year, for the reasons we talked about earlier. So I just, I don't want to turn this into the discussion because it's always a drag to talk about it, but it's been pervasive.
But it's real. It's
real. It's been pervasive in my thoughts lately, thinking about going back to work, classroom full of kids, no mask mandates because the governor of Texas is a fucking fool. And, it's tiring, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm tired, man. I'm tired.
Me too.
I'm tired of all this shit.
Have either of you considered a pandemic-related tattoo to just be like, I was fucking there. Like, I lived through this shit.
I don't have any tattoos, and I love tattoos, but I'm so non-committal that I don't know what I would get. And it would have to be something sentimental. And I almost feel like after COVID, I don't want to forget COVID because I don't want to repeat it. But like, I don't want to like look at something and be like, remember those shitty years.
Yeah. Hey, remember those shitty times when we had to order in all the time and never got to go anywhere? That was fun.
Though
I have
it could be empowering to have something too that'd be like, you know what, I lived through it. So
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I have I don't like saying, like, when I say, like, I lived through it, it almost sounds bad because there's a lot of people who didn't make it through, right? And that, it's like, there are a lot of upsides. Not a lot of upsides, but there are upsides. There's a silver lining to what we experienced. But it's hard to really talk about those because, again, there's so many people who just didn't make it through, and there are others' lives who will forever be changed. And I guess the only thing I can say about that is I hope to God that they can find some sort of silver lining out of all of it, because this is hands down one of the shittiest things that we have all. Well, I guess it depends on person, but it's a very shitty thing that everybody's experienced. So
I think the problem with I've lost a lot of faith in humanity in the last year and a half because I honestly believed that we had like this common enemy to fight, with this disease. Like it was going to maybe bring some of the world together. And instead, it's almost divided us even further. It's like haves and have-nots in countries that are wealthier that can afford the vaccines. Then it's all the propaganda and misinformation and politicizing things that doctors and scientists are telling you to do, and then politicians are telling you the other thing. Well, who's getting the airtime? Well, the politicians are. So you got all these millions of uninformed people that are, spreading all this fake BS all over social media and whatever, and it's created a dynamic where, I have literally cut ties with people because of their stances on COVID and masking and all that. Like, I've literally just cut some people out of my life, both online and IRL.
Yep. Same.
Because of their behavior this last year and a half. So I'm ready. It would be nice to have something else to worry about.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
I mean, yeah, I think it's put a lot of strain on relationships too. Just like, even like I hear a lot about families getting mad at other people because half the family takes it seriously, half the other family doesn't. And then it's just like trying to meet in the middle. And I mean, I did not expect this to all start and be like, in a shocking turn of events, everyone's more divided than when we first went into fighting a killer virus. But, life has a funny way of doing that.
Mm-hmm. It's weird that us as a country has done a better job of uniting when it comes to fucking war than it does just protecting our own. It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's sad.
God damn it, Jimmy!
I'm sorry!
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's more than fine. I love this shit. All right, so one of the I'm gonna skip kind of all the Twitch related news I have. There's some local sub pricing that has made some changes recently.
No, do that because I got to use the bathroom and.
Okay, fine. Is this something that you've been kind of following closely, Katie, with the local sub pricing changing depending on what country you're in?
Jimmy's just dancing out of frame.
Cluck, 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 cluck.
I didn't realize that different areas in the world had different pricing until they announced that they were working on this. And so I've kind of followed like the blog post and a little bit of it. And I saw that they just released UK prices recently, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a lot more reasonable because I didn't know that other places in the world had to pay more. And it wasn't really like balanced. So at least they're fixing that. But I've also feel like that might cause some issues too going forward. I don't know.
It will. There's also a lot of just from going off of like reading through threads on Twitter. I've seen how many people didn't know that subbing through mobile costs more than subbing through the website. So you've got these people who have been on mobile Twitch forever, right? It's like the only way that they consume it. They like, their purchases just tying into the app store, whatever app store that they're on. And they're like, wait a minute. Shit's more expensive on mobile? And it's like, yeah. And you think about how many people have been paying more for like, imagine like 4 or 5 years of 5 subs a month.
I feel like I've been stabbed in the back and betrayed beyond all means. Like, I feel like if you go through that, whatever payment system they use for Twitch, it should have like a thing like, hey, if you go on to PC, you could get a cheaper option because you get it on PC, you can still use all the emotes and everything on the app. So it does seem a little bit, unfair to all those people who didn't realize. And I guess hopefully they'll make it a little clear. I feel like sometimes there is a lot of difficulty getting information and sussing out stuff. And so at least they're being a little bit more transparent about that.
Are you on TikTok at all?
I think I'm the last person in the world who's not on TikTok. And it's not even like me being defiant. I just feel like another app I need to create content for makes my little heart a little more stressed. So I think TikTok's a lot of fun. I just don't have the app. I see things on Twitter, and that's my extent of TikTok consumption.
I remember we had the same reaction when Twitter released stories. We're like, oh my God, please. I'm so glad that shit's gone.
I was just going to say, I am so happy fleets are gone. I never checked them unless I was in a moment of despair of needing a distraction. I hated fleets because I'm like, no, I don't want this. And they got rid of it. So that made me very excited the day I opened the app and I'm like, oh, the little circles are gone at the top.
Oh my, yeah. Every time I would open Twitter, I'm like, hey, cool. Something I'm not looking at. And then you just keep on scrolling.
I bet they thought it was going to be like life changing. And, it's kind of like Instagram introduced it. And I was like, why? I don't want this. I was resistant to it, but I liked it better than Snapchat. So then I moved away from Snapchat and then I started using Instagram. I think they were hoping that would happen with Twitter, but fleets, I almost tweeted something because I thought it was funny. I have a drafts of tweets that I never send because I'm like, oh, is it good enough? And one of them was like, if I ignore fleets long enough, will they go away? And I kind of wish I had tweeted that because then at least I could have been clairvoyant. So,
damn.
Yeah, it's a missed opportunity, honestly.
Missed opportunity, indeed. Yes. This is what you This is what happens.
This is what happens.
You don't tweet your draft.
I know.
Have you considered, so there's a lot of talk going on right now about diversifying your Twitch income, and not by posting on other platforms, but deterring people from subbing so that they can either tip directly or tip through another platform like Patreon or PayPal. Have you given any thought to that recently?
I don't have a Patreon. I don't have a fan house. I don't have any of those things. And coffee. I don't know what the correct pronunciation of that is. But I've looked at them, and I just kind of go, I don't know what I'd put on it. Like, I know I have stuff I could put on it. Just also, again, it's like another thing I'd have to update. And when I started Twitch, it wasn't about making money for me. Like, I'm so grateful for the subs I have and the money that I have earned through it. It's just, I feel like I have to find what I'd want to put something of value on there for someone to give me money for. I don't want to just be like, throw something at me. Though I know a lot of people use it. So it's just something where I feel like I haven't found yet what I would incentivize for folks. So, but I know people say like the sub split, $2.50 or whatever your split is with Twitch is, not as good as someone just subbing on Patreon or Fan House or something like that. The split's much more in favor of the creator versus, Amazon taking half of your sub count. So I can see why people would do it.
That I've been wanting to have that conversation with people smarter than me for such a long time regarding the sub split on Twitch and whether it's warranted or whether it's, and I have so many questions, and I know we're not going to have time for it tonight because I want to see Jimmy cry. But I'm just, that's a conversation I've been wanting to have because I've gotten into a few, I don't want to say fights, but just scuffles regarding people that come into Twitch new and then have an issue with the sub split or just kind of how the revenue is divided. So if we happen to have time at the end of this, happy to go into that. But it's an important point, and money on Twitch has only gotten weirder and weirder as time has gone on. And again, with how much you have to diversify your income with different platforms, it can be incredibly overwhelming.
Yeah.
So now that Jimmy's back, did you have a rainbow sherbet in your hand when you walked up there, Jimbo?
No. I'm almost done with this Destel Wild Sour Strawberry, salted watermelon gose, which is a nice sour. And now I've got it's called Deserted, a pina colada sour that has a sour ale with milk sugar, pineapple, and toasted coconut.
Fancy.
From the Brewing Projects.
Milk sugar?
Mm-hmm.
The fuck is that?
It's pretty good, I can tell you that.
Straight from the cow? Just sucking milk sugar straight from the cow there, Jimmy?
Just like freaking Luke Skywalker, baby!
Which movie?
The best one.
Amen. One of the things that I have been thinking about recently, there's a lot of existential crises that only exist within like the Twitch world. Like there are certain things that I think about just within the Twitch ecosystem, like what are going to be the negatives of getting big on Twitch? Like do I want to deal with all of the negative things that come with growing on a platform or becoming an influencer, as they say? And one of the other kind of things that I talk about to myself is regarding sharing a lot of things on social media and whether or not I would be doing the things that I'm doing if I wasn't on social media. So there are so many times when either I'm working on something or I've created something and I feel the need or the draw to share it. And for me, I love the act of working on something and sharing it with people, getting constructive criticism and like bouncing ideas off of people and going back and creating something better. But there's always like a super small part of me that thinks like, well, if you weren't posting this on social media or if you weren't making content about it, like, would you do it? And I've been doing this kind of for so long that I sometimes feel like I don't know the answer to that question. Like on my good mental health days, I know the things that I love. I know the hobbies that I'm interested in. I know the things that I'm passionate about. And then there are other days where I'm like, man, this is all just kind of like a clout chasing game. And I don't even know if I love the hobbies that I spend every waking moment thinking about. Do you either of you kind of struggle with the mindset of sharing things on social media, like sharing personal achievements or reaching goals, or is that just not an issue for you whatsoever?
I don't know. I would imagine it touches everybody, though. I mean, for me, I know I struggle with a lot of stuff, and it's just finding balance, but also not. It's like your list never ends, and you're always constantly trying to. The waves keep changing, so you're trying to stay on top of your surfboard and ride all these waves out. And I feel like I have an extra layer of difficulty sometimes because I work full time, so I don't have as much time to just network and talk to people. And I don't know. I think that it's just constantly like I've been taking more time stepping back and reevaluating what I want to put my time into. And I do that with like TV shows now or a movie. If I start a TV show or movie and I'm like, this sucks, I just don't watch it. I don't finish it. And as like when I was younger, I'd be like, I started this, I gotta watch it, blah, blah, blah. And now I've just been more selective about what I say yes to and what, it's always, I think with social media inherently, I don't think it's healthy for us. I really don't. And I know a lot of what we do, you have to use these things, but it's like constantly chasing a number that doesn't matter is how I feel.
I agree with a lot of that. I think I have found that I have spent, with the exception of being on TikTok a lot lately, like a big piece of shit, just laughing and scrolling. But as far as like my social media, like for me, it's mainly just Twitter. Twitter is really the only social media I use. Reddit, I mean, I guess it's technically a social media platform, but I never post anything on Reddit or even post any comments. I just read through shit. I kind of use that more as like a news aggregation for myself and sometimes funny stuff. But I'll say Twitter, right? Which, as you both know, can be an extremely toxic place. Extremely toxic. And I have found that I just spend less and less time on social media these days. I think it's, in trying to, I don't know. I was part of your question having an issue of like what you should post or like what, when and how you should post or is the crisis like, if I post this, is this like I'm bragging about myself? Is that kind of, yeah, I feel that like, because I even felt it a little bit too, like even something that I've been working toward for so long a few months ago and making Twitch partner, right? Something I've been working toward for a long time. I even felt a little weird making the little post on Twitter about it. I'm like, I've seen all these posts. It's like, but I shouldn't have, but I did because it's like, well, is this something that people want to see? And I'm like, well, yeah, the people that are following you, they follow you for a reason, so they want to see that, you did that. But it's just, I think part of the issue, the root issue of that is that sometimes we get caught up. It's easy to get caught up sometimes in trying to put forth the image that you want to project on social media. But at the same time, you're trying to be real to yourself and stay real. And then what ends up happening, like Katie says, you end up drafting some shit up that just never gets posted. That's what happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
If you look at my Twitter feed, sometimes I won't post anything for weeks, and I try not to, but it happens. And I mean, it's part of it was during the school year when I'm working full time. I don't have time to get on social media that much during the day. And, the engagement and stuff on there, it's a good way to put out information. It's almost a requirement to have if you're a streamer or if you're a content creator, right? On any platform, you're going to have a social media presence in some area if you're looking to grow. But like Katie said, I think it's kind of just become like a necessary evil. I don't think social media, and if you take it in too large chunks, it just puts you in a bad mood. You know, it can put you in a really sour mood and just mess everything up. So,
do either of you feel like when you say that when you have too much of social media, you get burnt out and you just got to step away? Do you find that equal to hanging out with a group of friends too much? Like if you hang out with the same group of 10 friends 5 days in a row, and on the 5th day you're like, holy shit, I need to just go be by myself. Do you find those the same?
It's similar in the sense that you need to step back, but it's not the same in the sense of what it is, because that's just being tired. You know, you get tired of being around some people all the time, even if you like them.
Mm-hmm.
I know this. I got tired as fuck when I was coaching football and hanging out every day of the week with the same 13 men. That shit wears on you, and you get in each other's shit sometimes because you're just like, God, will you shut the fuck up, Dan? You know, it's like something sets you off, and it's like totally quiet, and somebody gets pissed off. Sorry to any Dans listening to the podcast. It wasn't you.
I know that there's somebody in my community named Dan, and I always feel bad because the last Dan that I worked with absolutely soiled any Dan that has or ever will be. Like anytime I hear the fucking word or name Dan, I immediately just get salty because like I've never worked with somebody who I've been so incompatible with and was so fucking lazy. And it just drove me absolutely insane.
Was that the guy that ate some of your lunch?
No, he was the guy that when I was sitting in my chair and I was on my phone, and he grabbed my fork and started playing with my food.
Ew!
Yo, I would have just fucking...
Yeah.
I would have taken my food and just thrown it at him.
So, okay, so that right there, that's 50... That tells you 50% about what kind of person Dan was, okay?
Yeah. You don't mess with another person's food.
You don't touch other people's food.
You don't...
No.
That is a no.
That's a boundary
Absolute
that
no.
you do not cross.
I don't even do that with my wife unless I ask her first.
Yeah.
I ask my wife if I can touch her. Like, hey, can I have that? I wouldn't just reach onto her plate and grab shit.
Same. Like, if we're at a restaurant and he's got French fries, and I'm like, can I have a French fry? Like, I don't just help myself.
Yeah.
Like, take his fork and just start pushing French fries around?
Yeah.
No.
It was orange chicken from Panda Express, and he just grabbed my fork and just started like swirling it. Like,
Ew, I hate that so much. I hate that.
What's the purpose of that? And so while he was swirling, I slapped the fuck out of his hand. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? So that tells you what kind of that's half the person Dan was. After that, he went back to my office and hid my backpack. He picked my backpack up from my cube and hid it in the office.
How old was this man?
You don't
40.
mess with someone else's shit.
40 years old.
Sorry. I hate every single minute of this. I would be like, you're already working. You don't need this extra childish crap thrown in your day. Don't touch my food. Don't touch my stuff. I already have to go sit at my desk. Leave me alone. Like, this is ruining my day. So this Dan, I hope he doesn't work with you anymore.
He doesn't. He got fired a long time ago, and it was an amazing thing.
Because he was touching everyone's backpacks?
And food. Touch my goddamn orange
Dan's
chicken.
fucking like HR file must have been like a manila folder that was this fucking thick, man.
Where you have the rubber bands around it just to keep it closed.
You go down to make a complaint, and the HR lady's like, "Let me guess, Dan."
And after I found my backpack, I'm like, Dan, did you hide my fucking backpack? He goes, yeah, well, you hit my hand. So I'm like, oh my God. I'm going to doctor up so much fake information to get you the fuck out of this employment.
I just feel like there's a lot to unpack with Dan there, too. Like, Dan needs to work on some stuff.
Dan needs to work on boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How to
in my
respect
history
boundaries.
of employment, right? So I've been working since, what's the legal age? 16 in Michigan? 15? Since 16.
Well, I guess it depends on your state. It's 15 here.
Okay, I think it's 16 for us. Since I've worked with other people, I have never had to sit down with my manager and be like, I I can't physically be around this person. Like, this is such a toxic human being to be around that it is affecting my job. I've never had to sit down and talk to somebody like that. That is how much that person affected me. And a lot of it wasn't him going out of his way to make my life miserable. It was just how Dan was. That was just the person that he was. So, like, I'm shitting on him now, and he was one of the worst people that I've ever had to work with. He's not a terrible person. He's just a terrible person for me. But also,
I don't know. He kind of sounds like a terrible person, honestly.
I'm
trying to be empathetic a little bit.
I mean, he probably has some redeeming qualities, but when you're in a work and professional situation, you do not pick up someone else's fork and start swirling their orange chicken, or then grabbing their personal belongings and being like, "Oh, I'm going to hide your backpack." Like, you just don't do that in an office setting. Like, at least the etiquette I have learned, I wasn't scampering about grabbing people's stuff and hiding it because it was, you hit someone's hand because they
would do to like somebody you're friends with and you're just messing around as a prank. Not somebody who you've already pissed off by fucking with their shit. Like, that could be I could see somebody doing that. Like, we would play pranks on each other all the time at work. It was one of the ways that it would make the work go by. Like, if anytime a lot of coaches, if they stepped away from their computer, I would go in their shit and I would mess stuff up. Like, I would change the mouse click buttons so left click right and right click left, Or I would secretly, if they left their email open, I would go add a line to their signature that had just some nonsense on it, like Sith Lord, since 2002. Those are the kind of things that I think they're okay, But again, you have to have that, relationship with somebody to be able to mess with them a little bit. If you just start doing shit to people just because, they're gonna. I mean, this is dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't fuck with my chicken.
Don't leave your computer unlocked around me.
That too.
We learned that today too.
You know what? I will say that I am not a good practical joke receiver.
Me neither. I don't like pranks. They make me sad inside.
Yeah, it's not the embarrassment. I don't like getting fucked with at my place of work. And it's not that I don't have fun. Like, I fuck with people a little bit. But people that fuck with me, like prank-wise at work, I'm not a fan. I don't know what it is.
It's a fine line. Like, there are some people that I consider myself pretty good at it because I managed to find, like, some funny shit to do. Like, one time I pranked one of the coaches. Like, I photocopied his face out of the football program and made it, like, life-size, and I stuck his face, like, all over the field house. Like, you would open a cabinet somewhere and there was his face staring at you. I climbed up into the ceiling tiles and where all the bathrooms are in the building, and I put just like the top half of his face so it looked like he was looking down on you over the stall.
Oh my god. You sound like a nightmare to work with, Jimmy.
Hey, it was the shit that you do to just, like, I would get to work like 30 minutes early and I'd just go do a little prank, something funny on the weekend. Just because you're tired, dude. You're tired. You're working 7 days a week. You got to find a way to make it fun. But there's also, I mention these sort of pranks because these are all, really harmless sort of things that everybody can kind of laugh at and get it, it's funny. When you're messing with somebody's personal property, you are really taking a chance because you don't know how they're going to handle it. And I try to avoid doing anything like that because you just never know. You never know.
Can you imagine being a part of the Jackass crew and being on the toilet and then somebody bum rushing you and punching you in the face just for footage?
Now that's like remember that one where they're walking and they have that big slap hand that comes and just goes pow, and knocks them down. And you're like, holy shit,
that's your life.
Like, I would be pissed off if somebody did the physical, those types of pranks. I would be pissed. Yeah.
Is there any trust there? Like, I mean, you just never know when something's going to happen. We went down a rabbit hole last night of watching a YouTuber doing commentaries on the couple prank channels on YouTube, which I didn't know anything about them. I was like, this is a brand new world to me. And I was just like, they were talking about how there's no trust in this relationship. Not that they're real. They're so fake, but also the stuff that they're doing that kids are watching. And it just made me feel icky inside. And I didn't like it. And I really wish I was still like blissfully ignorant that existed. But I can't unsee that now.
Did you see in your watching of all of these, did you see the one where somebody faked a kidnapping and pretend killed some guy's brother? Like they actually sat them in chairs duct taped and then got a gun with blanks and acted like they killed this kid's brother.
No, I didn't see that one. I saw one where they faked abuse and like physical abuse in front of their friends. And then I saw one. There was another one that was, they were drug dealers and his parents came into town and his like 14, 13-year-old brother shows up and they were like, they taped their wrists and stuff. And I was just like, who? This is, and then at the end, they're like, oh, we got you. It's just a prank. And I'm like, excuse me. Some of these people are like traumatized. Yeah. And it's not like you start like playing the dubstep music and start acting like, oh, you got caught. And it's like, no, this is like, you're giving trauma to people. And then like a 12-year-old's watching this and going, wow, this is normal. This is okay to do to other people, which is probably what happened with Dan. To be honest, Dan watched too many of those videos.
Probably.
I will take it. I'll go one step further on these prank videos. Don't go down the rabbit hole of seeing the prank marriage proposal videos. Have you seen any of those?
No, but
No, they're real proposals, but they're in like these shitty situations that are set up ahead of time. That are like there was one I saw on TikTok recently. Did you see the one? It was the guy who was proposing during a robbery in a convenience store. He staged a robbery ahead of time, and his wife is panicking, trying to get out the back, and he's like gonna go, no, we gotta stop. It was like crazy. I saw another one. This wasn't on TikTok. This was on YouTube or social media somewhere. A guy, it was a black guy, and he was at a gas station or something. Cops started talking to him. Next thing you know, all these cops have pulled their guns on him and everything else. His fiance or his girlfriend comes out of the store. She sees weapons are all drawn. And like, please don't shoot him. And, you know, she's over there getting in front. And then like he pulls out a ring and the cops are like clapping hands. And I'm like, yo, you guys were about to you faked a wedding proposal with you about to shoot this guy? Does anyone else not see this as totally fucked?
Like it's that. If my husband had proposed to me that way, I'm like, this is not the way to start this next stage of life. Like, it's just it's like they do stuff to escalate so that they can get more views, and it's so gross, but it's being rewarded, and it makes me sad. And there was several of like finally telling my girlfriend I'm ready to do it, and it was like sexual assaulty and sexual like insinuating, oh, we're virgins and we're about to have sex for the first time. But he's the one like, just look at it. And like, she's going, no. And then like he pulls out a piece of paper that says it's a prank, but it's so uncomfortable to watch. And it's so like triggering for anybody who's been through that. But it's like also just who's sitting there like, oh yeah, this is a great idea. Let's make a video about this. And then we're going to edit it. And then we're going to upload it. Like, is there nobody who has got a moral compass? Sometimes like I can't. I'm turning into the old person. I feel like I say this every time on my porch going, what's happening to this world? But it's just like sometimes I just wish people would think harder about what they're doing because it affects so much. And I can't be the only person that feels like, well, I know I'm not based on the commentary videos, but just in talking to you two. But like, it's just like, why? This doesn't need to exist, but it does.
I was scared that girls had cooties, so I wouldn't even look at them when I was going to say high school, but it was probably a little bit earlier than that. To go from like being terrified of women to kids these days now using them as a joke to joke about things like SA and then create video content about it. That is fucking insane to me. And that's not even us getting old. It's just
normal. It's like common sense and thinking about how it might affect another person. Like that's like, and it's such a basic thing, but I think in general, that's just what people don't think about. If it gets them views, gets them money and fame, I guess some people are willing to sell their soul for that.
A lot more people willing to do that than I would like.
Yeah. I didn't realize all the YouTube couples my world's been opened, and I wish it was smaller because I literally didn't know that existed. I didn't know that whole side of YouTube. I'm watching like coffee videos and travel vloggers and just things like that, and I don't see this other stuff, and I never check the trending page. I just don't check it because a lot of times it's not for me, and it's just it's like me being unaware, but also kind of like, how could I have missed all of this? This is like everywhere. But how do I have like those spots where I just don't see that stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, now that I've seen it, it makes me angry, and it makes me just kind of frustrated, and I'm like, I can't change it. I can try to be vocal about it, but I can't change it.
You know what makes me angry?
What?
There's some fucking kid out there who's unboxing toys on YouTube, is gonna make more money in this month than I'll make this entire year teaching. God damn it.
At least he's not making prank videos.
Not yet.
And you know what, though? I even get skeptical about those videos, too. It's like, I know that kids love those videos. My kid, when he was young, he loved those unboxing videos. Like, kids, that is like crack. That is crack to kids on YouTube. Unboxing toy videos, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
It is literally crack to kids. Well, I actually started looking into, because I wanted to make sure that the stuff that my son was consuming was okay, even though it was on the kids' YouTube and everything. And it's like, I don't know, man. Like, they're making money hand over fist, these creators, but like the parents of these kids, like they literally have a camera in these kids' faces like every waking moment of their lives. It's just so weird, Like, oh, we're going to have breakfast today. What are we having? Okay, well, we're going to do this. I mean, a lot of the shit has gone beyond just the unboxing. And it's like, we're doing all this vlogging content and all this stuff where you've got a family, there's a wife and a husband and a few kids. And it seems very exploitative, as BFFs would say.
Can you imagine? It's Tuesday morning, 6:30. You've taken a shower. You're getting ready to head to your first day of sophomore year high school. You've got honors English is going to be in first period. Then you've got probably chemistry that happens after that. So it's about 6:45, 6:50. The bus doesn't come around for another 10 minutes, and you're making your sandwich in the kitchen. Lights are real dim. Most of the lights in the house are off. Your fucking dad busts in. What's going on, guys? It's fucking Tuesday morning. My little boy, Jimmy, he's making his lunch now. What are you making, buddy? What are you making?
Dad,
oh, my
stop.
God. Is that
I just
Jif?
gassed. Dad.
And then you're just going around the house. You know what I think? It's time to wake up the girls for school. Let's go. Double squirt guns. Boom, 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 boom. Blasting everybody waking up.
Oh, shit.
Marshmallow gun. What my wife is doing.
Yeah, some stupid, yeah.
Why are they always screaming? That was the thing, too.
I don't know.
They're always just like, all right, guys, I'm going to prank my girlfriend. And it's just like, can you just take a chill pill? Like, but it's probably not 30-year-olds consuming the content. But I'm just like, I need a Xanax after watching this video.
Yes.
So it's just, it's time to stop. Like, it's just.
We gotta stop it all. What about my wife? Oh, honey, are you still mad that I totally forgot about our 20-year anniversary? Oh my Christ! It literally makes me sick to see stuff like that. When a lot of the Vine kids went YouTube, that was kind of the vibe of all of the vloggers that were making content. Was just bring every moment of life up to 100% at all times and make a video every single day about it. In your prank YouTube excursion, did you come across Prank vs. Prank?
I did not.
Okay, so that was one of the biggest couples prank channels on YouTube. Mm-hmm. I want to say that they got up to 10 million subscribers. They were fucking massive, and then they split up as a couple. I mean, obviously, you fucking tortured each other for like a half a decade. There's no way you're surviving.
No.
Damn.
A lot of times it's like these problematic things that they're doing as well, and they kind of get canceled, and then they just make like a really shitty apology video, and then they just keep doing it. And I just don't understand it's maybe cancel culture, but just almost like you know, you fake physical abuse and you put fake blood on a balcony, and then you make a video where you don't really take a lot of responsibility for it, and then you just keep making videos with not intention, I don't know, maybe intentions, but just keep repeating those same kind of things and doing almost worse videos and then getting away with it again. I just don't understand. Yeah. I guess maybe you can understand it. The internet's hard to police. It's just, and like everybody's like trying to speak up if they feel, but like you read the comment sections of some of these videos too, and it's just like, oh man, they really got each other good. And I'm like, wait, did we watch the same video?
Yeah. Right.
Wait, I have a question.
Hold up.
Yeah.
It is a little weird to me how just thinking like 5 or 7 years ago. Remember when that blonde curly haired actress from Grey's Anatomy kind of like went off and did some weird shitty shit, and then she just got like canceled as an actor? Like she got like really Katherine Hagel, is that her name? Katherine
Hagel. Yeah, I love Katherine Hagel.
So she kind of ate shit for a really long time, and she's really not doing much. That was a very common occurrence for like TV and movie stars, right? They do like one bad thing and another bad thing, and then they're just forgotten about.
Yeah.
Internet superstars and influencers, it doesn't happen. You do the shittiest thing imaginable, like filming a dead person who committed suicide in a forest, and then like, not that I don't like redemption arcs and seeing people come back, but at the same time, like, that doesn't happen. Like, I think cancel culture is a real problem, but I think cancel culture is a problem for the people who actually get canceled, because I feel like 80% of them just come back and do whatever very shortly after.
I saw an article yesterday because Chrissy Teigen has been under the microscope because of all of her cyberbullying. And I saw a post yesterday. Is Chrissy Teigen uncanceled because she was at Obama's 60th birthday party? And she's got all of they're like, check out her looks from this weekend. And I'm just like, I mean, she told people to take a dirt nap, suicide. And I know, like you say, redemption arcs, like everybody, maybe, I don't know the whole story, but just like, it's just interesting how our society has shifted. I mean, and just now that I'm older, I just feel like I look at things from a different lens, and I'm fascinated by it, but then I'm also finding I'm more and more disappointed as things go on. Like, she lost a bunch of brand deals and all that, but just, one weekend, she gets invited to Obama's birthday, and it's like, maybe all the things that she said for other people to commit suicide wasn't so bad, but I think she did do an apology thing on Medium or something. But again, I just think it's interesting because I just see canceled written in so many headlines and so many, you see it trending on Twitter. But then it's forgotten. Everything on the internet is like a minute, and then the next minute there's another thing that's being canceled.
Without saying who or what, have you ever looked past something really shitty that somebody did, whether it was a Twitch streamer, actor, musician, and you were like, even though the entire world is shitting in this person's mouth, I don't see, not that you didn't see an issue with it, but you didn't see it as a big of a thing, or you seem to have forgave them faster than everybody else did?
Yes. And I'm going to say the name only because it's not related to Twitch at all. And I don't mind taking any heat for this because I don't think it, I think a lot of people share my opinion on this one. Michael Jackson. Obviously, it seemed like he did a lot of shitty shit. I can't stop listening to his music. It's so good. It's so good. Why did you have to be a diddler, MJ? God dang.
I don't like Michael Jackson's music, so it's pretty
Michael Jackson's music.
It's pretty easy for me to like step back from that. And also, I watched the documentary that those two guys did on that, and it's I only made it halfway through, and I was like, I can't watch this anymore. It's just not because I was trying to ignore, but I was like, it was so heavy, and I just was like, I can't even think about this because I've got my own son, and I'm like, I can't imagine any kid being abused. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, ugh, it's hard for me to watch shit like that. I love documentaries, and I like learning a lot about stuff, and a lot of times it's hard topics, but I feel like it's sobering, and sometimes I'm like, it's stuff that people don't like from food documentaries, at least knowing where your food comes from or, stuff like that. It's just like important for me to at least have more context. And I'm trying to think if there's a celebrity that, like, I think about, like, if it depends on what the person did. Like, you think about Kevin Spacey. I loved Kevin Spacey growing up. I did too. I said I loved
Usual
K-Pax.
Suspects, one of the greatest movies.
He was my favorite actor. He is not my favorite actor anymore. He's tainted every movie I've seen him in. I can't watch any of it anymore. Like,
I don't even want to watch Seven anymore. He's not even in it that much.
It's something where there's just, it depends on, I guess, for lack of a better word, the crime. I'm trying to think if there's something where there's fishy information that's coming out and it's not confirmed and there's just weird stuff. I think there's been like one person maybe, but even then I don't consume their content as much. I don't vocally support them as much. And I guess it's just something where it depends on where it falls in. I'm trying to think of like an example. Everything that I'm thinking of is like really bad stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, and that's fine. And again, I didn't want either of you have to say what it is, right? Because like we probably all have opinions that not everybody vibes with. And
I bet you if Michael Jackson hadn't have died from the overdose and the medication from his doctor, if he had lived a few more years, he probably would have ended up getting canceled too. Because I'm sure the shit would eventually come out. And while he was, the only thing that kind of saved him was that he died. Is ultimately in the court of public opinion, because there seems to be less impetus to go after the fact. You know what I mean? Especially when the guy's, he was a legend in the, in the music industry, right?
Right.
But I think that's probably the only thing that saved Michael Jackson from not getting totally canceled was the fact that he died relatively early, because of that overdose.
Can't get canceled if you die before it happens.
That's right. If you die first, you don't have to worry about it. So, we've been having all fun kind of topics tonight. We're talking about the COVID. We're talking about child abuse and all kinds of cancel culture. Woo! What's the next one you got?
I told you. Okay, so I did not necessarily a podcast, but a just chatting stream with a bunch of homies that I've met on TikTok recently. Mm-hmm. And we talked for 6.5 hours. It was from 9 p.m. to 3:30 a.m. And two of us cried and one of us got teared up like by the end of it. And it was like, there's nothing that gets me hornier than seeing dudes cry. I love seeing homies cry. It's one of the greatest things ever. But after that, I'm like, man, I just like, I'm on board with just hitting hard topics lately. And especially when I'm sitting down with people like both of you that I respect so much. And whenever we sit down and have these conversations, I always walk away like a better person. Like I'm always gained so much from these conversations, and to just be able to sit down with people that you vibe with and it's just like there's such a big takeaway for me, like totally selfishly, right? Like I know that there's people watching that probably enjoy seeing us get together and have a conversation, but if I'm talking blunt, honest, like there is such a big takeaway for me being able to sit down with both of you and talk things out.
Thank you, James.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Like it's nice to be able to like be comfortable and talk, about real stuff. Like sometimes it's very much like, tell me more about that movie and why you like that. Like it's nice to dive a little deeper than surface level. So I appreciate that a lot.
Do you feel? I was just gonna say, piggybacking on what Katie said, was I feel the same way. I know I've known you for a really long time, and obviously we've hung out. Even though I've never met Katie in person, I've known Katie for a really, really long time, and we have the same sort of vibe and being able to talk to each other and whatnot. So for me, I have no problem broaching these topics. Like certain people, I could not broach these topics with. I just couldn't. But with you two, it's not a problem at all.
I've seen Katie in real life once before, but I was too afraid to go up and say hi.
I know you say that, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm so intimidating to say hello to.
No, you weren't intimidating. It was like there was just this weird gray area about like, I know she is. We've interacted. Am I going to be weird going, oh man, she's kind of a big streamer. Like, I got to walk away. I got to
go. Next time, I will implore you to say hello. Hopefully there'll be a next time soon as well. Like, in the how about we say
I'm hoping next year.
I need Jimmy to experience TwitchCon so fucking
I'm going
bad.
to a TwitchCon. I don't have to coach sports anymore. So once they have one, I told my wife I'm going. She said that she was fine as long as I go with you.
You're going.
Ooh.
You're staying with me.
She
We're getting a fucking house in Hamul.
I said I trust Naaackers. You can stay with him and you can go with him. Because she knows I never get in trouble when I go visit you. So you passed the test.
Is that the dream, or not the illusion that we don't get in trouble?
Well, I mean, not legal trouble.
Okay.
I mean,
real quick,
we didn't get caught for any legal trouble, is what I'm trying to say.
That is the wrong segue after the conversation that we just had. Katie, by the way, what are you drinking? I think we had talked about Jimmy's.
I started with a hum kombucha that I got from Costco, my favorite store in the entire world. It's mango passion fruit. It was fine, but then I just got a Waterloo watermelon sparkling water. So nothing super. Jimmy's drinks are fancier than mine tonight, and I actually like sour beers. I don't really drink all that much, and I don't love beer, but I tried a sour beer recently, and by recently I mean in the last year. And,
oh my Christ!
And those sound really good. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to ask Jimmy where he got those so I can try them.
I'm telling you, I have converted so many people to sour beers in the last few years. It's crazy. Including that guy. Right there.
Including me, yeah. If you like watermelon, so this is probably one of my favorite drinks that I've come across. I do not like watermelon. I don't like eating watermelon. I don't like watermelon flavored things. I don't know what it is. However, this watermelon mojito, Bud Light seltzer, is probably one of the best seltzers that I have ever had.
I saw a commercial for Bud Light seltzer and I was like, get the fuck out, because I'm like, It's a Bud Light seltzer and I've had Bud Light, so I didn't think that it would be good.
It's one of the best tasting seltzers that are out there right now, in my opinion. Yeah, Bud Light.
I'm all about the Topo Chico seltzers, baby.
Those are good too.
I have a community member telling me, Katie, have you gotten Topo Chico yet? And I cannot find it here. And so someone was like,
there's
a
shortage.
Whole Foods?
There's a shortage right now all over the U.S.
Okay, maybe that's why I haven't been able to find it.
Yeah, it's so good. Oh my God, it's my favorite. Like, I started drinking Topo Chico a few years ago. I used to call it Mexican water affectionately because it's made in Mexico. It's water. But my guy, I used to coach football, and the guy who sits next to me, he's a Mexican guy, Mexican-American, but his family's from Mexico, whatever. And he was always coming in with Topo Chicos to drink. I'm like, how do you drink water with bubbles, man? He's like, here, have one.
Yeah.
It's like, it was after practice. It's like, all right. So I opened it up. Man, I chugged that sucker down so quick, and I was burping out. I was like, oh my God, that was so good. So since then, I've just been, man, I love Topo Chico. I love it. It's so good.
I have recently, Praxis is their name in my community. Like, have you found the Topo Chico yet? I was like, I can't find it anywhere. Apparently they said Whole Foods might have Topo Chico. Have not been to Whole Foods.
It's hard to find in Texas right now.
And that's where it comes from. Or like, that's where you can mainly get it. Yeah, next door. I'm like, this is the second. I mean, it sounds like Topo Chico is something I need to try at least once.
It is the best sparkling water that you can buy. Okay, because
hands
down.
I don't like LaCroix. I don't like some of the other ones. Waterloo is the best, and that's the one I've gotten. So
I've had Waterloo. It's good, but I'm telling you, Topo Chico is better. My personal favorite is the Topo Chico with a little bit of lime. They also have one that's like grapefruit. That's really pretty good too.
I love
but
grapefruit.
The lime one, they're both fantastic. You gotta get it.
Okay, I'm gonna look into that because grapefruit, that's why I like sour beers, I think, is because I like sour stuff. Like grapefruits, I like strawberry rhubarb pie. I mean, there's so much sugar in that, but like I love, strawberry rhubarb pie is kind of sour. It's tart.
I've never had a strawberry rhubarb pie. I've never had a rhubarb pie. I don't even know if I've ever had a rhubarb.
It's my favorite pie. Strawberry rhubarb, hands down, best pie ever.
What is a rhubarb?
It's like a plant that grows, and it's like celery looking almost, and it's got big leaves on the top, and you chop the leaves off. If I remember, those are poisonous.
It's not even a strawberry?
What's that?
It's not even a strawberry, or is it strawberry and rhubarb?
It's strawberry and rhubarb.
Okay.
Rhubarb is the fleshy, edible stalks of species and hybrids of rheum in the family Polygonaceae, which are cooked and used for food. Mm-hmm. The whole plant, a herbaceous perennial growing from short, thick rhizomes, is called rhubarb. The precise origin of culinary rhubarb is unknown.
And it's delicious. I mean, it's really tart. Like if you eat it raw or anything like that, it's sour. And so you put it with strawberry.
It's raw!
It's
every time I hear someone say that, I gotta go Ramsay for a second. Sorry.
Do you bake, Katie?
I love baking, yeah. I do it more in the winter, but yes.
I just Googled and I see strawberry rhubarb bars. And I'm just gonna link you this in case it's something that you're interested in.
Baking is so soothing, and even cooking, like I don't do it as much as I used to, and now it's like frantically make food because I'm doing way too many things and I just try to eat. But I realize like baking and cooking is very therapeutic, and I don't know. Then you get to enjoy like the fruits of your labor, except for the dishes, but that's another story.
My wife bakes for me, but then I just have to do the dishes. That's the deal. She'll make me cookies, but she tells me I got to clean up.
That's
which
fair.
I don't mind.
Yeah, that's a fair trade-off.
Like, if you want to make me cookies, I will totes my goats clean that shit up.
Because you
now
get
go
cookies.
Get dressed in the kitchen and make me some fucking cookies, honey.
I love cookies.
Me too.
I love
chocolate
desserts.
chip, though. That's it.
Oh,
chocolate chip.
I love oatmeal chocolate chip. None of that cinnamon.
I could try. I've had some oatmeal chocolate chip, but I just like the way the chocolate chip cookie dough tastes, especially if it's like 3 or 4 minutes out of the oven where it's not totally cooled yet. You set it on the racks.
Yeah.
And the inside's still a little gooey. Oh.
I do
like the
love
bottom of the crust is still good. Like you got the little outside circle where it's cooled and the inside's still a little gooey. That's the best time to eat a cookie right there.
Now I want cookies really badly. But I went to Costco and I got brownie pots. That sounds really awful, but they're just little ramekins of brownie.
You can't buy that at Costco.
At mine you can. No. And they're just like brownies, pre-made brownies in ramekins. And so I have one left, and I'm definitely going to eat it later because I need dessert now. Like there's not a choice.
Yep. Oh yeah. I've got some Rice Krispies and Take Fives in the fridge, just waiting.
That's why I'm drinking a dessert beer.
It's
true,
but it's dessert. Doesn't have the 2 S's.
That's what fucked me up.
Deserted.
There's 2 S's in dessert, though.
He's deserted. I know. He's on a deserted island, but it tastes like a dessert. It's a play on words, KPP.
I didn't know. I'm learning a lot about this beer this evening. I'm sorry for my mistake.
It's okay. No, we'll let it slide.
Cooking being therapeutic is actually one of the reasons why I stopped doing cooking streams. I probably only did like 6 or 7.
Doesn't matter. Your TikTok content and the shit you post is even better, and then you can just do what you want. Katie.
Yes.
This man did not know how to fucking start a charcoal grill when I met him. The first time I visited him was in the summer of 2016. He asked me to help him light the charcoal grill and to show him how to flip the goddamn burgers and dogs, because that is how I'm not being hyperbolic. He knew nothing about cooking. Now he can make everything, and he can make the perfect poached eggs, which if you've never tried to poach an egg, it's one
really
of the
hard,
hardest things to do. I've never been able to do it. And the man's a damn genius. My wife wanted me to learn some cooking skills on my trip up there. That didn't happen. I just ate a lot.
Yeah.
Too busy eating and sleeping. Yep.
Yeah,
you got to reap the reward.
Nice.
Is that, wait, I have to ask you, during one of your cooking streams, is that when you fell?
Yeah. Yeah.
That haunts me. I think about that every now and then. I just think about that and like it hurts.
I laugh every time I think about that clip.
I love that clip, to be honest, because
you can hear the ribs breaking.
Yeah, it just I was like, he hit so hard. I was like
he bounced.
I like audibly screamed when I saw the video because I was like, oh my God, are you okay? Because you didn't just like, I slipped a little and bumped into something.
No,
you went down.
Cracked a couple ribs.
Because like when in life do you ever have like a super cardioid microphone an inch from your mouth when you fall and break your ribs on the fucking kitchen counter? Just that whole like weenie doing the dishes, the shit flying after. It's a great fucking clip.
It is one of my favorite videos of all time.
But
not just of you, just of all time.
Of all time. Yeah. Broken ribs are probably the most inconvenient injury that I've ever fucking had. It is the absolute worst.
They're very painful.
But yeah, I had put anywhere in between 10 to 20 hours into building a kitchen streaming setup, like with cameras and monitors and macro boards. And after like the 6th or 7th time, I'm like, this is not fun. This is so incredibly stressful. And again, this is a super deep conversation that is not going to be able to fit. But there's that conversation of you don't need to make all of your hobbies profitable. Like you don't need to monetize your hobbies, right? Whereas I'm in the boat of like, I want to monetize at least one of my hobbies, right? Like I enjoy the monetization of said hobby. Like I enjoy the business part of that. That's a conversation for another day. But after the 6th or 7th time, I'm like, you know what? Cooking is a newfound love for me, and I enjoy it so much. And it's one of the only times of the day that I actually have to myself. And now I'm just bringing in all of this extra unnecessary stress and pressure to it. And it kind of made me sad because I was excited about doing cooking streams for a really, really long time. And then I did them, and I'm like, man, I don't want to do this at all. And I haven't done them since.
They're a lot of work to put together. For me, I'd have to move a lot of my rig, if you will, into the kitchen. And so I do them. My community loves them and they want more of them. But for me, I do them for charity incentives because it takes so much tear down and so much time, bringing everything out. And then the cooking takes longer because you're talking and you're doing stuff. But and I won't lie, I'm distracted, so my baking and cooking doesn't come out as good because I'm I'll make a recipe.
You're trying to entertain. You're trying to talk to people. I get it. You can only do so many things at once. The
resources aren't there, and so I made these chocolate crinkle cookies successfully. Never had a problem. The time I did it on stream, I'm like, what happened? They looked like little monstrous cookies. And I was like, they taste good, but it's just I don't know what I did wrong. And so that was one of the things is when you take time and you're just able to be in the moment of cooking, it's nice to just zen out a little bit. And did I get enough powdered sugar on my crinkle cookie? Instead, I'm like, gotta get them in the oven. And then they just don't come out right.
Yeah, it's so fucking stressful. Oh my god! By the way, Katie, I forgot to ask you your hard cutoff time for tonight.
I think probably I don't know what time does it usually end. I didn't really have a.
We usually run about 2 hours. We're closing in on the 2 hour mark. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
I can go for another half an hour or so.
Okay. I just somebody in chat said they hadn't seen the clip yet, and I went to go look, realizing that clip happened before I deleted
clip
my
Armageddon.
entire library. Yeah.
Did you
just
save them?
Because of the whole DMCA thing. Yeah, no, I saved them. They're on my. They're hard copy saved somewhere on here.
Yeah, that clip lives rent free in my head, honestly. Just every now and then I'll be standing in the grocery store and I just think of it and I'm like, I'm just glad he's okay. It's just there's not a lot of things that viscerally latch on, but that changed my life that day.
Well, I'm glad that my pain and suffering.
I'm gled you're okay
because it always brings a smile to my face.
Yeah, no. Every time I see that, there's so much that happens in such a small amount of time, and just the other thing to know is that 3-second moment, how much pain and anguish it caused the following months of just being getting out of your car with broken ribs is and then you end up getting out and you have to do that multiple times a day. Oh god.
And I know breathing and laughing is also difficult. So
yep.
I don't envy you. You had it on Twitter though, right?
I did, yeah. And I just found the hard copy. That is I just made a Windows noise on the stream. I'm sorry, chat. I'll upload it to something and I'll post it in chat here in a second. Fucking watermelon rhubarb. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know.
So neither of you have had strawberry rhubarb pie? Mm-mm. I hope that changes one day.
I don't even know if rhubarb's a thing where I live. I don't know. I don't know if they even have rhubarbs down here.
You can get it.
Dude, I don't know if I've ever seen one.
You can get them at the grocery store, but I feel like they are kind of seasonal, and
Probably.
I mean, you can buy strawberry rhubarb pie at the grocery store, but maybe
I've never. I swear to God, I've never seen one.
Yeah, I
Now,
love
it's not
them.
like I frequent the pie section.
Neither
but
do I, but I know like
I would think I would have noticed a strawberry rhubarb pie somewhere over the years. I've never seen it on the menu. I've never seen it on anything. I
grew up in New England and I live in the Pacific Northwest now, so I mean maybe it's a northern regional thing, but
maybe.
Yeah. I'm not
here,
sure.
Down here we just got Pete's cobbler and strawberry pie.
Those are good too.
Yeah.
Just throw a little rhbarb in that strawberry pie and you're
My
golden.
wife refuses. My wife doesn't eat pie at all.
I love
She
pie.
hates pie.
Oh, pie is
She
so
doesn't.
good.
Her reasoning is she's a very picky eater. She doesn't like. She's like my son too. He inherited that, which is awesome for us. She doesn't like certain textures of foods, and so that will prevent her from eating. And she also doesn't like fruit that is warm, and that's why she doesn't like pie.
Yeah,
That's fair.
She doesn't
I don't
like
cooked
warm
vegetables.
fruit. So she doesn't like cooked fruit. So
Give me raw veggies all day.
You know, there's some veggies that don't cook well. Zucchini, get out of here. It's slimy.
Oh man. Growing up, my my Arabic friend's family, they made it's stuffed zucchini where it's like lamb meat, rice, and tomato sauce inside a zucchini. Oh my! The amount of fucking times I had to eat that. I never want zucchini ever again.
It's good in salad, like if it's cut up, but like raw. But if it's cooked, and people are like, "You're just not making it right." I'm like, "No, it's disgusting
No.
when you cook it."
Carrots
like
and
zucchini.
both carrots and corn. I hate both of them. I don't eat corn at all.
Really?
But
Kinda love
carrots I
corn.
don't like cooked.
I like corn.
Yeah, I love
I eat
vegetables,
corn.
but
I like corn. I like to grill it, where I'll wrap it in. I'll put like a bunch of butter and then Louisiana hot sauce on it and a bunch of pepper. Roll it in foil. Set that sucker on the grill for about 20 minutes. Indirect heat. Perfect, man. Oh, and then you put a little of that. What's it called? There's a type of seasoning I put on there too.
Old Bay?
Yeah, Old Bay.
I was just guessing. Holy
Yeah.
shit! I'm the man.
Yes, you can put the little Old Bay seasoning right over the top of it. It's perfect. It tastes so good, man. So good.
Anybody who wants to see the clip of me breaking my ribs, I put a link to it in chat. Cloud App is just a cloud hosting service. I'm not trying to steal your external IP.
He's stealing your IPs. Don't click that link.
I'm just waiting for it because I'm watching it again. Oh God. It's so hard.
The thing is like I see myself bouncing in the
I
video.
know. That's why it's so upsetting. And also,
I remember bouncing. I remember bouncing off of that thing.
it's like you never get used to it.
Have you ever noticed the flinging vitamin container after I hit?
It's just like stuff's flying, you bounce, and then you just go down, but you fell at such an angle that I'm like,
I love that
recover.
Weenie was shocked, and then when she realizes you're not dead, she starts to laugh.
Laughing.
It's so fucking funny.
Because she looked over the second before I fell. She looks over at me, and that is when the time I fall.
Oh, it's an experience, and you can't not see this and feel your pain. Though I know I didn't feel the pain the same way that you did. Oh,
You know, I posted that shit to live stream fails, and it got downvoted to hell.
Why?
Because it's not drama from XQC and Soda Bomb, and that's why.
It's just somebody just falling. It's not enough drama. Yeah. Right.
One of the hard hitting questions that I had listed here that I wanted to ask both of you, and I'll start with Katie. What's the hardest thing that you've had to deal with since becoming a content creator? Whether that was outside forces, right? Like your personal life outside of streaming that was directly influenced, something streaming involved as far as like making a decision that would pivot your community. What's one of the hardest things that you've had to deal with so far?
Oh my gosh. I feel like my brain pinballed to like several different things. I feel
Really?
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of have either of you watched I Think You Should Leave on Netflix?
No.
Okay, well, it's a comedy show that, and I was going to say there's a thing called Cosmic Gumbo in it, and I was just going to reference Cosmic Gumbo. I feel like Twitch is kind of like that, where it can be a cluster sometimes, and I'm trying to pinpoint something that's been incredibly difficult. I think sometimes it's just dealing with difficult people, like feeling like difficult viewers who feel like they have what is the word, like, because they donate or they do other things and feeling like they have a say in what you do and getting access to you and dealing with that. Because I used to be much more of a nicer person and really poor at like setting boundaries, because I'm like, everybody's great, nothing bad can happen on the internet. And so all my DMs are closed now, very few people get access to them, and it's just stuff where it was like navigating all of that toxicity has been tough for me. And I could do without all of that. I just enjoy connecting with people and talking about fun stuff and playing games like Barn Finders and making fun things. But there is that element sometimes where there is just, just like in life, there's just it's a culmination of so many different peoples. And you're going to meet lots of different people in that. And just sometimes those are hard to navigate.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it's just hard because I always want to be a nice person, but sometimes you got to be like, no, that's not okay with me. And it's okay to do that. And I've learned a lot on Twitch about how to stand up for myself and be a little bit more staunch and, what's best for me, I guess.
It's funny seeing you say that out loud about, and I most of the time I spend in your stream, I'm lurking because it's pretty crazy in there most of the time anyway. You got a lot of people talking, and I'm not trying to, I just usually like pop in to let you know I'm there, but half the time I don't. But I have noticed watching you lately, you're a lot quicker to just fucking address someone on their shit. You're also a lot quicker to use a lot more coarse language than you used to.
I know.
Which, no, yeah! I appreciate that. I'm the same. I love it too.
Yeah.
And it's funny to me because I'm like, it finally happened.
It finally happened. I've always been...
you can only hold it back for so long, and I think you probably realize too that you don't use it excessively, and I don't either, generally speaking.
Mm-hmm.
But well, it depends on the time of night. If it's late as fuck and it's the weekend, all bets are off. But I try not to be excessive. But I think especially if you're dealing with toxic people. And people that are, being entitled about whatever because, I gifted you 10 subs, so I feel like I should do this or whatever. Yeah, I think it's good to call people out on their shit. And it's okay to use less than polite language when dealing with that. And also just in the things that people say or do, being able to react. I think that's okay. I think it's good. I think it's good.
Yeah. I used to not curse at all, and I would always say things like, you've been there since like almost the inception. And so the first streamer I ever watched didn't curse, and it was very family friendly. So I'm like, this is what it's all like. And so my stream was very much like that. And then I had a hard time being like, I cursed a lot in real life just because who doesn't like saying a curse word every now and then? It's kind of fun. And then slowly over time, I just was like, you know what? It's part of who I am as a person, and I don't really want to say whoopsie doodles anymore. So, I was like, it doesn't...
Whoopsie doodles doesn't quite have the same effect of fuck!
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel the same.
And so now I make jokes about having a Christian Minecraft stream and stuff, which is kind of fun. But yeah, I do call people on their shit a lot more than I used to. I used to be like, it's fine, I don't want to rock the boat. And, it's just how I was raised. I was very shy, and I mean... I'm a different person now. I know people are shocked to think I was a very shy kid. And so I've come a long way out of I've blossomed. But I used to put up with a lot more shit in my chat, and I used to put up a lot more stuff. And it's not to say that doesn't ever happen, but I'm more like, nope, I don't like that. And so I don't keep it around because it can poison other aspects of your community, which in my brain, when I first started, I was like, well, it's a viewer and it's nice to have them here. It's just not worth it. In the long run, if you feel something in your gut is wrong, you just got to nip it in the bud because your gut's probably right. And I think that that's something I've learned a valuable lesson on and grown from with streaming.
Yeah. I thought it was nip it in the butt until a week ago.
I've heard, what
the fuck?
Really?
somebody enunciate nip it in the bud recently, and I went, excuse me, ma'am, what did you say? Nip it in the bud. I'm like, no, it's nip it in the butt. And she said, no, it certainly is not.
I think that sometimes some of those phrases get a colloquial meaning, like nip it in the butt. Like if you said that, I wouldn't be like, it's bud. Like I'd be like, I knew what you were saying.
For all intensive purposes.
So to nip it in the bud literally means to like stop something as it's beginning, right? And in its early stages. So I just looked up the etymology of the meaning because, guys, I'm curious to where it came from. And it says the metaphoric expression alluding to a spring frost that kills flower buds was first recorded in a Beaumont and Fletcher play in 1606. So in England, this is where nip it in the bud came from. It was referring to killing, like a frost killing off the flower buds.
Oh.
And that's where we get the saying.
See, I always pictured like a little shitty 10-year-old doing something stupid and then a parent pinching them in the ass going, hey, cut that shit out. And the kid going, oh, fuck, okay, fine, stop. Like that's what I thought it was for 30 years. Coming up on 31, unfortunately. I was having a conversation with somebody recently, somebody who doesn't stream anymore, but somebody that I really looked up to. Like I admired, I was envious, and I saw the status that they were at. I saw the level that they were at. And then, had a conversation recently about what their life looked like from the outside and how it was nowhere near what they were actually experiencing on the inside. And I think one of the most common occurrences for me is seeing other content creators and how they interact with other people on social media and thinking that there are these big cliques or these big circles or groups of friends, and they all talk all the time. They share personal stories. They're all super close. And then you talk to each person after the fact and you like try to get a sense of what kind of relationship they have. And they're like, no, we just talk to each other on Twitter every once in a while. And it's like, oh, that's okay. That's super fucking interesting. So one of the things that I always like to ask people who are on the podcast, Katie, is what has your experience been with fake people as far as other content creators that have, oh man, she's snickering already.
It's like, that's a
I'll leave during this segment so you don't have to worry about talking about me.
Okay? Yeah, I'd be like, so you know this guy, Jimmy, right?
Actually, I'm going to get another drink.
Mr. Coattails himself. Yeah, do your thing. What has your experience been like with people that might have gotten close to you with ulterior motives, or maybe you've started out with a super genuine friendship, but then it just kind of fell apart when maybe certain monetizable events had fallen apart? Like, what's been your experience so far? Feel free to discern whether it was pre-partner or pro-partner, excuse me.
I don't know. I feel like Twitch has been hard to navigate in that regard sometimes because you never really know what someone's wanting. Sometimes it's like you hang out a couple times and they're like, oh, hey, do you have a contact for this brand you work with? Like, can you hook me up with that? And that's happened a lot to me. And then,
really?
Yeah, a lot. And I stopped, I started being pretty staunch in how I would handle that. And I just, it started to, there's just a lot of things that I watch and I observe, and I like to think of myself as an observant person, and I try to be as genuine as possible. And I also have always wondered about that. There definitely seems to be cliques. There's Twitch favorites. There's definitely some things that, life is just always going to have that kind of stuff in it. It's just disappointing when you work your ass off and you're like, well, why am I not in that clique, or why am I not this? And a lot of times it does feel very transactional. Like, you comment on my stuff, I'll maybe comment on yours. And it's just kind of like, I get that. I mean, it's business. People like to do that kind of stuff. But I think for me, I don't know how best to describe how it's affected me. I mean, I don't think it's made me feel good about myself, or I've walked away from some situations feeling like, awesome, really glad that happened. That was cool. Like, I think I've started carrying myself in a different way, and I do kind of keep to myself quite a bit. And sometimes I think that's a blessing and a curse. I feel like I'm already shy, and then I'm busy with work. And so maybe I'm missing out on some more fulfilling and awesome relationships. But I do just kind of, I feel like over the years, I've kind of learned to keep to myself a little bit. I love working with people, I love collabing, I love doing stuff, but it's just, it's a hard plane to traverse sometimes, and it can be really scary, I think.
Do you feel like you have enough people in your personal life circles that you don't go out searching for circles within Twitch?
You know, with COVID, that definitely threw a wrench into a lot of stuff. I feel like for me, this last year specifically, I've been really focusing on people that I genuinely enjoy and have felt that they care about me and that they're not just showing up because they can get something, or that it's, you know, performative or something like that. I've just really been trying to pay attention to actions, or, you know, someone reaching out if I've been quiet for a while or something like that. I'm a kind of friend, though. You don't have to talk to me for like 3 months and then you just like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, I'll pick up where we left off. I'm a very...
You're the best friend to have.
Yeah, I am the most low maintenance person. I don't need to be touched base with weekly. I don't need you to, you know, I just like to be, you know, included every now and then, like every few months or something, or, you know, just that's who I am as a person. And so, I've always struggled when I'm trying to balance so much and there's maybe somebody who wants a lot more from me than I'm able to give. And I've always felt guilty about that. It's not because I don't care about them. It's just like I don't have as much time to, you know, I try to eat, I try to exercise. Sometimes I do wish that I had more time to do that stuff. But I feel like COVID brought up a lot where I talked to one of my friends so much more on the phone than I ever used to, because we would try to plan visits and stuff. And so talking to my sister, talking to her, my other friend, and, you know, those kinds of things fill me up. I'm the kind of person who'd rather have a few good friends than a whole bunch of them. Like, and I've realized that over the years that I'm more comfortable. It's more of a quality, not quantity. And sometimes I feel like Twitch wants more to be like, that whole environment's like, you should have a lot of people. And like, I get it. I want to, you know, I want to be that person that everybody loves, but I know I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And I am what you get. Like at the end of the day, like I'm not putting a mask on and I'm like, at the end of the night, I'd peel it off and I'm like, I fooled everyone today. But it's just, like, it's just not who I am.
This sounds weird when I put all these words together, but you are so easily consumable. Like, you're so easy to eat.
Are you Katie? A cannibal?
Like, Mark, where are you at?
Mark, I need an adult.
Your baseline genuine self is such an easy, non-abrasive thing to be around. And I say that wholeheartedly.
No, I appreciate that. It's so hard for me to take compliments, so I'm like, don't reject it, just take it.
Throw up on stream right now.
I appreciate that. I just, and I know like sometimes like I'll get down on myself if I post a Twitter video that I think is the most hysterical thing I've ever made and it doesn't get a lot of likes. And it's really hard in this environment to be like, not beat yourself up over that. I'm like, that was gold. I'm so proud of that. And, you know, you see other things just blowing up and, you know, getting a lot of comments. And then I go, oh, am I just not like likable enough? Like, do people just not like me? And it's so easy in this world to fall into that. So it's just like trying to be okay with like, this is just who I am. And if you like it, you like it. And if you don't, you don't, which is a lot easier said than done.
100%.
Look, I've got tons of edit. I've been trying my hand in the last few months of like getting video editors to try and make me content and do different things. And I came to realize that whatever I think is funny doesn't fucking matter, especially on TikTok, where my most viewed video is literally an 11-second video of me running up from behind a tree and saying, "You a bitch!" And then that's it. And it just says, "Send it to your best friend." And like that one got the most views of all my shit. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, that was something I literally I saw someone else do a version of it. I was like, oh, I can record one of these. I did it. And then like, that was the one. That was the first one I had that went over 1,000 views. I was like, what the you know, you got to just be comfortable being you.
Yeah.
I guess it's a thing that it takes a lot of people a long time to learn, myself included. Which I know is kind of ironic, funny being me because I'm a beer avatar on stream, right? But it is me. And I think
is
people
you.
that have been around long enough know that it's still me. Like I'm talk the same. I do everything the same. The only thing that's not there is my actual face.
Yeah.
And that's because I've just got this weird thing where I have resting bitch face a lot of the time that I have to focus on not. I'm like, okay, smile because people think you're angry.
Yeah.
You know? Like it's just something I finally realized it was better to go the other route. So good on you for figuring that out, because a lot of people, they never figure that out. You know, they never figure that out, and then you're constantly concerned about trying to please everyone, and it's impossible to do.
Yeah,
it's impossible to do. You know,
it's not. It's not. You can't. Like, and my part of me is like, I'll figure it out. I'll make everyone love me, and it's just like not realistic. It's just not like that's just like, and it's taken me a long time to get to this point to be like, you know what? I post a picture of whatever and it doesn't do well, it's still part of me. Like, I used to be that person who would delete tweets if they didn't perform well, because I'm like, I feel bad. My value is and I'm like, no, this is part of who I am. And it's all because
I did that. I used to do that.
Yeah. And it's just something I think like trying to grow from that and be like, it's still part of who I am. And like, this might not be the most popular thing, but it's a piece of who I am as a person. And I don't know. I think that there's something in that I kind of respect more sometimes when I see like, yeah, this has like 5,000 likes or 1,000 likes, but this person like, is sharing bits of their life and it's not just meant to be viral. I don't know.
Right.
I always have to do this, but get on TikTok, Katie. Take whatever you got to do to you don't even have to create original content for it yet.
Yeah.
Just get on there, get your editor to start formatting things for it.
I'm the editor.
Blow up on TikTok.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
People have told me that, but I'm like, I don't believe it. Like, I'm just like,
I believe it. I bet you would.
I have a lot of videos just like, obviously from Twitter that then I upload them to YouTube, but I haven't been able to find a consistent editor. So I just keep editing my own stuff. I really like.
You do a great job.
It's hard.
You do a great job.
It just takes a lot of time, but it is kind of like when I would do the Katie and Keaton videos, which is that awful character from Animal Crossing that is so rude to me. And those videos would take me sometimes like 10 hours to edit, just because I like have a specific thing that I want. And I'm not proud to say that, but it's just like, even sometimes you can't get that one thing to work. I will work on it for 2 hours to get it just right. And that's the kind of stuff you gotta just like let go of some of the perfectionism of those things and just being like, you know what? That's not centered. I'm just going to move on from it. So I do less of that and I just try to put up fun stuff and hopefully somebody will like it.
I'm just saying, with your quirky sense of humor and the random stuff that goes through, I'm sure that not only would you be able to recycle some of the content you already have, but you would easily be able to create short 15-second TikToks that I think a lot of people would enjoy. I do. I think you should do like, I was very hesitant. I was the same way. I was just like you like a few months ago until this son of a bitch fucking finally got me to get on the app. And I realized how much opportunity was on there to also grow and learn some stuff too. And it's just, I see you as someone who would be, I think you would do real well on there if you just started to you wouldn't even have to be super regular. You would just a little something here and there.
You know what? I have a question about TikTok. I know I've watched people talk about the format of the TikTok videos. That's what I think makes me go, oh God, I'm tired. And I'm like, I don't want to.
They got websites. They got websites. He's got it all. This man, you know what?
So I got to hit up Naaackers and be like, give me those sweet links.
Naaackers is going to give you a crash course in TikToking, okay?
Wait, the format is in like the digital format or like the YouTube vlogging vibes of super fast?
No, the aspect ratio, converting an already edited file to the aspect ratio that is portrait.
They got websites for that.
Widescreen.
And they do have websites for that. But to be honest, TikTok is the most forgiving when it comes to quality. You can have a video that has been screen captured 5 times over that is so pixelated that you can't see the person's face. But if you can make sense of the video and see that person just fell and broke their ribs on a counter, I'm going to laugh my fucking ass off. Like, you could have the shittiest quality. You could take your 16:9 video and squash it into a portrait video platform and it'll still do really well. Like, it's so forgiving in that aspect. I will say that editing something for TikTok and then reformatting it for Twitter does suck.
Yeah.
And again, like, I've been lucky to finally get some solid editors. Like I've had good editors, and the reason why they're not editing isn't always because they were bad, but it's just like their life circumstance have changed or mine has changed. But even if you pay people money, there still isn't a guarantee that you're going to find somebody that values your passion as much as you do, that like it takes it as seriously that you do. Mm-hmm. At the same time, people like us aren't normally paying somebody to be as passionate or to be as serious as we are, but man, finding editors is such a butt pucker.
Yeah.
But I love the one I have now, but golly, I can't use him all the time because he's too expensive. You know, he's I mean, that's what he does for a living with like big corporations and shit. He's amazing, but I have to be selective of what I want him to do because it's too pricey.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So. All right. Well, I might need to look into this TikTok the kids are talking about.
Yeah, get you on the old TikTok.
So what I'm going to say to get you started is download the app, get on there, just start consuming content. Don't think about posting a TikTok for another 3 months. Just get on there, start looking at stuff, get your lovely man meat to get on there and start feeding that couple's algorithm. And then you might get an idea like, oh, this is up my alley, or I need to pay somebody to just handle all of TikTok for me because I have absolutely no interest. But what I will say, based on you and your interests and the type of content that you post on Twitter, you will find something that you just love consuming on TikTok. Like one of the things that I talk about this all the time. I don't care about how candy is made, but there are TikTok accounts that just show the process of how like taffy and hard candy is made, and they show them just boxing people's orders. It's the most captivating content that I've ever fucking
They're
watched.
like mini documentaries.
It fucking is.
So it's come full circle. This is how it, like, I won't have patience for normal documentaries anymore. I'm like, if it's not on TikTok, I don't watch it.
It might ruin normal documentaries for you. But there's I know that my community is probably so sick of me talking about it, but even with me being on Twitch for as long as I have never felt that a platform has jived with me as much as TikTok does. Like the energy, the filters, the attention span, the humor, it all is so in line with me as a person. And I think that like it shows in my numbers. Like I latched onto it so fucking hard and just did well. And I'm like, is this what it's like to be good at a social media platform? Is this what it's like to grow? And I want, even if it doesn't jive with people, like I want so badly for everybody to just like get on there, test it. Because even if you don't end up creating content for it, the amount of cooking, gardening, woodworking, like all of the lovely things that I've learned from people just taking 60 seconds to share something from their trade has been so rewarding. And as addictive and life destroying as TikTok is in plenty of households, it's just been nothing but awesome for me. And it's just a platform that I love being a part of.
And I'll be the last person in the world to join, but I feel like I've had so many people lately tell me, like, you just gotta just try it. Just try it. And I'm like, am I going to fall down a rabbit hole? I already scroll too much. Just like, you know, when you're bored and it's a weekend night, you're like, I'll just go through Twitter or something. And then you're like, I'm looking at like YouTube videos that I fell down a rabbit hole now. I'm watching some man use a window cleaner and a squeegee to show people how to squeegee windows properly. And I'm like, how did I get here? So I'm afraid that TikTok will do that to me.
I've learned more about living in a van in the last 30 days of my life than I ever thought I would ever know. I learned a lot about living in vans thanks to TikTok. Yes. If I ever need to live in a van, I'm going to know where to get started.
I know who to ask if I have any van questions now as well.
There you go. Actually, there's a guy that I met on TikTok who he just moved. So he lived in an apartment with his girlfriend, and he has now broken up with said girlfriend, moved out of the apartment into his mother's boyfriend's basement, and is now saving up to buy a van to build a mobile podcasting van where he is just going to drive around the country and meet up with people and do podcasts live on Twitch with shit. And so he's been going through the whole like van building YouTube and TikTok, and it's crazy what people do with vans.
I watch a couple on YouTube. They're living out of a van and traveling across the country. I have no desire to do it, but it's kind of like interesting to see them do it, because I know that that's not something on my bucket list, but just the trials and tribulations of living in a van that they've outfitted is.
I couldn't do it, but it is cool. I think if I was, I've seen some. I don't know how some of the van life. There's like a whole section of TikTok that is dedicated to people that live in like converted vans and school buses and shit.
I did
now,
hear.
School bus
wild.
Yeah.
It's a different story. That's a lot more surface area.
I did hear that some of these prank couples came from TikTok, though, and that makes me afraid.
But here's the cool thing about TikTok. The algorithm learns the things that you like and like to watch.
Yeah.
And it generally sends you the stuff that you're going to want to. So if you don't like shit, you just scroll by it and it remembers that.
Okay.
Like you didn't like this type of video. So eventually it learns. Like for me at first, it was like 50% thirst traps. To be fair, I was literally, when I started the app, they probably figured, okay, male, this age. So they threw a bunch of thirst traps at me. Now it's like 10% thirst traps, you know, and all of them are like Star Wars cosplayer. Like there's a girl who wears a Boba Fett helmet and wears the Slave Leia like bikini, and she does all her TikToks in that, and I love it. My wife likes to do. She's like, she's hot. I'm like, I wonder what she looks like. Will she ever take the helmet off? I don't know. I have to keep watching.
Boba Fett helmet reveal.
Yeah.
Katie, how likely are thirst traps to stay in your algorithm on TikTok?
I mean, morbid curiosity sometimes. I think as soon as I get on there, I'm going to be like, what is this? And like, I'd probably watch enough of them that I would get them for a while until I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm nervous about getting like the dancing ones where they like learn the moves and then like, you know, am I going to become one of those who's like, I got to learn this TikTok dance?
If you're dabbing,
not if you're not
dancing,
a dancer.
Dancing is just a dab away.
I mean, what if I just do dab dancing and start a whole new trend on TikTok?
I bet you there's probably you could probably look it up. I bet you there's a bunch of TikTok dabbing stuff on there.
Oh,
not like I can do. I don't know.
This is true.
The Betty White.
The Betty White.
You don't even know her name.
The Golden Girl. She was a golden girl. I was close enough. Oh my Lord! All right, hey, we got 3 quick Q&A questions, and then we'll wrap this up. First question from Gary. They're all from Gary. To Jimmy, do you still listen to PYT, Jimmy Monka?
Yes, I do.
The fuck is PYT? Pretty Little Titties?
Young Thing. It's a Michael Jackson song.
Oh! Also, I thought that little started with a Y right there. I said Pretty Little Titties instead of...
Oh, God.
Pretty. I'm glad I didn't say the word that started
Michael
with
Jackson
young.
wasn't watching them Pretty Little Titties, man.
He unfortunately was. Oh wait, no, he was more into diddlies than he was tiddlies, wasn't he?
I was about to replace the P on. I'm not gonna do it.
Anywho,
next question.
Katie Peters, did you say that it was hard kombucha? If not, have you tried it? It's amazing.
I have not tried hard kombucha, though there's always trace amounts of alcohol allegedly in these. No, it's just a normal kombucha from the Costco's. But now I've never had hard kombucha. It's always weird to me that you can get these with like 12% alcohol in them. So
fermented.
It's fermented. It's from you know how they make this, right?
You didn't say that. That made it very inviting. I don't think I want to know.
You know how they make
I don't like kombucha. My wife loves it, but I don't like it.
I used to make it, and you just take sugary tea and you put it in a giant thing with a mother SCOBY, which is a symbiotic mushroom that it's like this. It's shiny, flat kind of thing, and it like ferments the tea, and then you bottle it and then you drink it.
Gross.
That is going to be the version of Katie's thirst traps on TikTok.
Like,
it's going to be
so
kombucha.
Have you heard of kombucha? And it's just my educational videos about kombucha.
There it is.
Katie, when was the last time you were plastered? Absolutely
Okay.
off your rocker plastered.
Like, what does plastered mean? Like, did you mean like I can't walk?
That means you don't remember. That means you don't remember what you did.
I consider plastered to be there are parts that you don't remember, where blackout is blackout. So plastered is like maybe you did some things out of character, but you don't remember them because there's holes. Swiss cheese memory.
I won't lie. It's been a few years. I haven't I've been drunk occasionally. Like we did a bike bar.
Why is that funny?
Just because I was thinking about one of the last times was we did a bike bar with some friends, and my other friend was so hammered. And it was just funny because she's like not a touchy-feely person, and she's like grabbing my arm and stuff. That was funny. But yeah, it's been a while since I've been like wasted.
Okay. What was the alcohol of choice?
Which time? Like for the last time? Like
were they rhubarb shots?
I wish. It was whiskey shots, whiskey sours.
I haven't had a whiskey sour.
I love whiskey sours. And you know, just we were going like ciders and things like that, and just hopping around. But so it was probably an eclectic mix of things. Okay. But yeah, the last time I got like wasted, I can't remember.
You're not missing anything. It's like it's cool when it's happened, but at the same time, it's like, oh, so much work.
So much work. I don't drink too often, but when I do, like we had some wine the other night and I had more than I probably needed. And it's fun. And then it's like, I felt satisfied for a while.
Sure. Are you comfortable getting a little schwisty on stream, or do you completely stay away from?
I don't think we've done a couple things. There was a thing I got to be a part of called Fucked Up Friday, where I had some drinks and stuff, but it's never to the point where I'm like, I don't remember anything. What am I doing? I think on New Year's Eve, I had some champagne once. So, I'm a party streamer, essentially, because I had champagne one time. Fair. Yeah, no, I've just never like meshed the two.
Okay.
I don't have any problem with it. I just guess I've never, like, when I was a family-friendly streamer, it wasn't like, here's my collection of wines or anything like that.
So, Jimmy, we have a mission, whether it's TwitchCon or some sort of meetup. We got to get her up to like, we need to see what that Katie is like, because I have no idea what Katie exists beyond.
It won't be a problem. We just got to make sure we can get. We got to try and get Mark out there too. Then it'll be easy. Then
okay.
Then he'll have the peer pressure. Yeah.
No, I feel like I've heard I'm a lot of fun. No, that I laugh a lot and things like that. So that could be something you look forward to.
I'm pretty much
great
the
way
same.
to look at it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I think generally you can tell if I've had too much to drink because the slurring starts, You get the
you do
words.
a lot of not mumbling, but you do a lot of humming where you go, all right.
yeah. You could usually tell, but I generally, even though I do love to drink and I love drinking, I try not to go in excess, just because hangovers suck, and for one, and for two, it's like if that's all you're doing all the time, it's expensive, man.
It's very expensive. Yeah.
So I try to be drink in moderation and enjoy it, and it's worked for me so far. There's definitely times where I've definitely gone overboard. But I don't think that's not the norm for myself either. So,
just from experience, it is really easy to treat streaming as a party. Like there's been times where I've been live and I've had a couple and like things are feeling great, and then you're just like, man, I could party right now. Like I could just start blasting through beers. And then it is a party, right? Like I compare Twitch streaming to being at like a house party, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just
in
like
some ways, yeah.
So many different, different
people
ways.
coming through the front door, you're saying hi to. It's yeah. That's an apt comparison, I think.
Yep.
There is an energy to chat. Like even sometimes I'm like, I gotta go run in the other room and grab something, and I'm like, it's so quiet in here. Like there is definitely a vibe that Twitch gives that I don't think you can really explain to anybody else unless you're streaming.
I'm not. This isn't a question. This is gonna be simple response. This wasn't on the list, but you just reminded me of something, and I'm curious to see. I bet you your response is the same as mine, but I'm curious to know. Do you ever stream on Twitch? This is both of y'all. Do you ever stream on Twitch and you see a particular? I'm not saying a moderator because moderators are different. You see a certain name pop up in Twitch chat, and you're like, you know, you're gonna. It'll be fun because that person shows up. You know what I mean? Like you see, and I'm not saying there's probably more than one person, but there are some times when you just see a name and you're like, oh, they're here. It's going to be a good time.
I think for me, just like when anyone shows up, I'm always like, yes. But there's the regulars. I think they all know who they are. It's just always nice to be like, hey, how's your week been going? Tell me how you've been. It's like catching up with a friend. And I don't know. I'm just ever honored that anybody comes to my streams and says anything in my chat. And I'm always like, oh my gosh. Because
I agree. But the point I'm making is I'm not trying to say, but it's like, there are certain people when they show up in their chat room that just the way they are in Twitch chat, it just, the chat feeds off them. That type of viewer. You know what I mean? And that's always nice to have in a Twitch stream, Mm-hmm. I like it. I figured you guys had a few. I was thinking of that, like, oh yeah.
There's like two different tiers to that. There are, when I know that somebody's watching, there's like when they pop in and they say hello and they're like, hey, I'm just gonna lurk. There's like a certain like, oh yeah, let's fucking go, right? And then you're right. There totally are some others where when you see him pop up in chat and you see him interacting, I mean, again, the same as like a house party. There's when like Maddie Matheson shows up to your fucking house party.
You're like, oh my god, it's gonna be a fucking party now.
Yeah. Some people unknowingly have that sort of effect on others. And again, there's a life, like I don't know how to explain it, but like when you have that sort of energy going on in chat, it's like a bright light in your community, and
you have so many people
thing.
in Twitch from so many different walks of life that come into Twitch chat, and some of them are just some very entertaining people. Just some very charming, entertaining. They're not over the top with the streamer. They know how to interact with the streamer. They know how to interact with chat. I'm like, oh, I wish I had 1 million of you. So
I don't know if any of this has happened to any of you, but have you ever been like, I mean, it's been fun, you're doing your thing, and then someone shows up and you get embarrassed, like, oh, they just saw me like riff on this, thing in a game for hours, and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe they saw me do that.
You mean like another streamer you look up to? Is that what you mean? Or
honestly,
what?
yeah. Like if there's another streamer you look up to who's like, hey, how's it going? I've been lurking for 2 hours, and you're like, oh my god, it's fine.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Even
in fact, one of that just happened to me yesterday.
Even it might not seem like I get embarrassed by the way that I act and the things that I say, but there are times when I've seen like somebody pop up and it's like, oh man, all right, well, let's just look forward. Let's just nothing we can do about the past.
Like there's one time I missaid my community's space sharks, but I said space shards.
Yeah.
And that guy,
welcome
are you
to the
kidding
space
me?
sharks.
Welcome to space sharks, everybody. And now it's kind of like caught on. And it's unfortunate for me, but it's also kind of the best thing ever because, it's just with that kind of
like
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
You don't fart around other people, do you, Katie?
Is that something people do, like in public? Someone you're comfortable with or know a little bit?
My wife tells my son that her butt giggles. She doesn't fart.
I would never go like, yo, what's up, Naaackers, and just start.
She just says, that was my butt giggling.
You've never been walking through like an aisle at Lowe's or Home Depot and just been like just a quick little tootski for the homies to walk through?
No, you never know.
We call that crop dusting where I'm from. You dusted the crops, then you just go through.
Those aisles are tall, but they're not soundproof, Naaackers.
Yeah, but that's kind of like that's the fun in it. It's like somebody could hear, but you don't know if they will. Well, it's the thrill. It's the thrill of the toot.
Dude, you've got some real balls to force a fart out in a public place because all it takes is one wrong sphincter move, and that fart could become a lot more dangerous.
So
You know what I mean?
I mentioned this on TikTok last week. I don't know if either of you have known this, but one time on stream, I was sitting here and I farted so hard that I gave myself a hemorrhoid. I was sitting here on stream and I pushed, farted. I'm not even kidding you. It felt like somebody stabbed my anus. Like with it was like a sharp pain. I'm like, oh my God. Ow. And I didn't say anything, right? And then I went to the bathroom a little while later and I peed. I'm like, my ass is still sore. What the hell is going on? Came back. I streamed for another couple hours. And then at the end of the stream, like 2 or 3 hours later, I went back to the bathroom. I'm like, all right, I got to check to see what's going on. I'm like, why is there a satchel of Skittles on the edge of my anus? I had given myself a hemorrhoid from farting so hard.
I'm just imagining you like trying to put your ass up to the mirror and like look at it, and then as you finally do it, it's like that scene from Total Recall, the original one with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and like the dude lifts up his shirt, and that little guy comes out all, and that's what you seeing like, in your butthole.
Somewhere in this phone, there was a picture of me spread eagle in the bathroom, trying to see whether
you're
I was
gonna
okay
get
or
arrested
not.
for that. iOS 15, they're gonna look for dirty images. You're going to jail, son. Going to jail.
Listen, don't fart on stream. You're going to give yourself a hemorrhoid.
Mm-hmm.
You can become the spokesperson for it and just start doing PSAs.
Dude, you just found your brand new freaking sponsorship, bro.
Preparation H.
Mm-hmm. And those little special donuts you sit in.
Okay, so I said that having broken ribs was the most inconvenient injury, forgetting what having a hemorrhoid is like. It is. Knowing like every bite that you take is another like point of friction against your anus. Like every bite of a hamburger you take is like, oh, that's adding another quarter inch of poop. That's just
have truly run the gamut of discussion tonight. Jesus.
Okay, that's as far as I'll take you guys. I'll reel it back.
Thank you.
Just like that, 2 hours and 45 minutes of good old-fashioned podcasting. I knew, I wrote down, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I wrote down 9 different things that I wanted to touch on. I knew I wasn't getting to them because I know how Katie operates, podcasting professional. I know Jimmy is incapable of staying on one topic for more than 50 seconds. I knew we were going to be fine. But, Katie, very much appreciate you coming on and hanging out with Jimmy and I. You filled Bishop's spot perfectly. I know he's in here and he's going to shit on me for saying that. But
did I? No, you could never replace Bishop. So I'm just honored to be in his seat. Thank you for having me. I don't know.
What we're going to do is go around the room, have everybody reintroduce themselves, where you guys can find them online. So, Katie, why don't you start?
Okay, hi, I'm Katie Peters Plays. You can find me on Twitch at KatiePetersPlays. I play a lot of sci-fi and horror, but lately I've been playing games like Barn Finders, so come watch me play gems like that. You can find me on Twitter at PlayKatiePlay. I have 2 podcasts. Katie hasn't seen that, where I watch movies that everyone else has seen and I have not. And then also Quantum Drive, where I talk about The Orville, one of my favorite sci-fi shows. And that's all, folks.
Hi, my name's Jimbles, also known as MiddleAgedStream. You can find me on Twitch at MiddleAgedStream, also on TikTok at MiddleAgedStream, and on Twitter at MiddleAgedStream because they don't have any room for my D.
This podcast has come full circle. They've just right then, full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Chat, remember to get out there and get your fucking D. Hi, my name is Naaackers. You guys can find me on this very channel or on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Naaackers with 3 A's. I have no fucking idea. Okay, super quick last mini topic. Have you guys ever had weeks where you fuck off of everything else in life? Dishes, chores, like getting gas. Like you're just so, you don't care about anything else in life. I know this is like a privilege of being a non-married, no family gentleman, but this past week I disregarded everything in life except for like the absolute bare essentials as far as like eating, shitting, hemorrhoiding, and that's it. Like I didn't plan next week. I didn't consider any relationship, no friendships whatsoever. I just fucked off the entire week. Am I alone?
No. People do that all the time.
I did that on a week. Like, I don't do it for a whole week, but I kind of did it for a weekend recently, and it was wonderful. And I played Spiritfarer, and that game made me cry. And how dare it?
That's why I didn't play it. I heard a few people made him cry. I was like, I can't do that.
It's only when I'm playing off stream, and every single time it gets me, and so I have to have tissues next to me when I play Spiritfarer.
Oh, man. Well, Katie, again, thank you so much for joining us on the show. It's awesome to have you back here. If you were to, can you give anybody an ETA on how long until you're creating TikTok content?
Oh, God. Okay. Well, I will look at it this week, and I will try to do it in the next 2 weeks. And today is August 8th, 2021.
No.
Wait.
Give yourself
November.
at least a month or two. You need to consume TikTok content for at least a month or two.
Okay, just watch my Twitter, because if I'm posting on Twitter, you can follow my TikTok. Then you'll know. There. Yes.
And by the next time we have you on the podcast, I want to know what has been your favorite kind of thirst trap to consume on TikTok.
It will all be new to me. I didn't know thirst traps were on TikTok. Should have known.
Oh, they are very much on there.
I knew there was dancing. So if there's a whole world that awaits me. So I'll give you all the tops. That was a bad choice of word.
Thanks for joining us for Crocs and Hot Pockets, episode number 162.
All right, good night, everybody. We'll see you later.